Okay, brother, before we get too carried away, check out what I'm about to crack myself into here.
Heck yeah.
Hey,
You know what?
the Real Foxbody Addicts.
That's awesome, man.
What an intro.
The saying on the back, though, is the best part.
Life is too short to drive boring cars. Amen to that. Well, thanks for joining me, bud. I was just kind of mentioning to you, but the listeners wouldn't know that Chris, well, I'm not sure what's going on with him here. I've been sending Hail Marys at him all day, and I haven't heard anything, so I don't know if, hopefully, if he's under jack stands, they're still standing. But
hopefully.
Yeah, it's kind of, I don't know if he broke his phone or what's going on here. So I get the pleasure of, at the very least, starting this pod with Mr. The Real Foxbody Addicts. Jay, welcome, brother. Thanks for joining me.
Man, I'm so glad to be here. I've been waiting to have, a conversation with you, man. Every time I see you, we're always at the shows and everyone's going every which way to sit down and have a conversation with you, man. It's so cool. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah. Well, and every time that we do cross paths at the show, I know it's like for a quick couple, 3-4 minutes, and it's like, okay, tonight, beers.
Yep.
And then who knows where a guy ends up, right? And we never end up doing it. So I guess we got to do it electronically.
The way I look at it, though, is because I've thought about this too, is like, I mean, yes, it sucks because we haven't had that, ability to be able to sit down and chit chat. But at the same time, it goes to show that both of us are having so much fun while we're there that we've just, the word busy, I guess you can say, you know what I mean? There's just so much going on that it's hard to get linked up. But I look at that and say, man, that's okay because we're both having so much fun.
Agreed, bud. And I think it'll make, this conversation that much fresher because we haven't officially had the chance to do this yet.
Very true.
Yeah. Okay. So another little pre-recording thing. You said, damn, guy, like your little air quote studio looks pretty good. Buddy, I wish I could turn the camera around and show you what's going on here. So quite literally, my computer is on a fold out like tin painter table, something you'd see, like, the style that it's kind of like the scissored legs and, you'd lay like a body panel across it to work on it.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I got a tin top on that. That's what table I'm operating off of. The mic's attached to that. So it's a little shaky. Then my camera, it's on a Jack's Wax 5-gallon pail between my nuts, like pointing at me.
That is fantastic.
Computer's behind that. And then what's making me look so lovely in this kind of lighted situation is my underhood light nailed to the fucking wall. Like my big long DeWalt underhood light. Yeah, that's what's shining on me right now. So it looks official, but it's the furthest thing from.
That's the best part about it is a guy like you is so creative with shit like that you could give the appearance like, damn, Gary, you got like a professional. Did somebody come and set that up for you? I mean, that's looking really nice, man.
Oh, dude, it's haggard. I mean, the scene looks all right behind me, right?
It sure does.
And I guess that's really all that matters when you're, hell, it's kind of like these like fake AI backgrounds, right?
Oh,
I mean, that's
AI is AI, but it's like, man, enough is enough. That is a real background right there.
Yeah, it is real. And you know what? I've put in all the hard yards to get to this goddamn car to like shows so everybody can touch it, feel it, whatever, and go, it's not AI. Right? I took a lot of shit for that over the years.
That was one of the first things that when I saw you in that car in person, I confirmed to everybody, he's not AI. Gary's real and the car.
Yeah, the car exists. So I don't know. I guess I'm maybe no longer considered the AI guy because, now I'm down here doing it. But enough about me, buddy. Shit, everybody hears me go on and on all the time. I remember hearing, it was quite some time ago when you jumped on with the 5-0 Asylum Boys. But I was trying to remember the bits and pieces of the story of like how the Real Foxbody Addicts started. And I wondered if you'd be so kind to kind of relive that with me again.
Oh, absolutely. It was all out of emotion is what it was.
Okay.
I mean, that's the first thing I can say. So the story of it was, and I remember it like it was yesterday, but the sad part about it is, and that reminds me, actually, I got to go get my beer out of the fridge. I'll do that in a minute. Mm-hmm. When I first bought my car, and I'm sure we'll dive into that at some point. When I first bought my car, I wanted to just dive into it. I needed to occupy my mind. So I got online. I'm reading even the old forums. I'm jumping in a lot of these, Facebook groups and just trying to learn. And there was one group that I had joined, and there was one post that stood out to me because I guess I pay attention to numbers a lot of times. So when I saw this picture of a black coupe, and there was like 310 comments on this thing, and I'm like, whoa, there's a lot of conversation going on about this particular car. Like, let me click in here and see what's going on. Again, me just trying to learn anything I can. Who knows even what the topic is? And I click in there, and the long and short of it is the amount of comments that I saw of people bashing the owner of this car because they put, for lack of better words, like a fender flare, on the sides of this black coupe, and they were tearing this person apart. Immediately for me, like, I've never been the type, like, if you don't like something, keep scrolling. I've always been that way, right? So it touched a nerve as it was, but as I kept going, and these comments were just overwhelmingly just talking shit about this car. Well, down a couple hundred comments in, the owner, the person who made the post, decides to chime in and defend themselves. And it turned out that was a 17-year-old kid. And the reason why that kid put fender flares on the car is because it had a little bit of rust on the fenders, and the kid didn't have the money to fix it. So he did something that he thought, hey, it's cheap, I can cover up the rust and keep it moving. You know what I mean? Yeah. But the way that I saw, and I'll say it like this, a bunch of grown-ass men tearing down a fucking kid, 17-year-old kid that's probably, and I don't remember every detail, but probably just getting into this car and this community. And you have a bunch of people that are just shooing that person away. Oh. And I thought to myself, like, well, there's a couple different ways you can go about this. You can maybe write a message to the admin and bitch about it. Hey, man, control your vultures. We all know which way that's going to go. You can bitch about it, or you could do something about it. So I said to myself, I'm just going to do something about it. So I said,
see if you got his address.
What's
that? Pulled up to his house. You got his address. You pull up to his house and you kicked his ass.
I threw red bricks through the window. It was one of those things to where you can't blame, any admin in the group for necessarily allowing that. That's the way that they choose to run that particular group. However, I just wanted to make sure that I wanted to start something that was going to be the complete opposite of that. You know what I mean? I can't govern adults, but to some degree I can. You know what I mean? If I don't go in there and mute everybody. But when it comes to a bunch of guys tearing down a kid for something that he did to the car, come on. It struck a nerve with me, and I created it that same day. The name of that group was Foxbody Addicts. Right. That's why mine is called the Real Foxbody Addicts. And it was out of emotion, you know what I mean? Just acting fast, and that's what came of it, and it just kind of spiraled from there, and people, I think, started to see what I was hoping to do and trying to do. And I think, kind of just flocked to that.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I love that. Like, I mean, I think I probably talk about it enough that people get tired of it, but like, just the lack of context that goes into the online communication, where people don't know the backstory. Like you said, maybe this guy is a young fella or a young gal. Like, maybe these grown-ass men feel tough beating up on a gal. You know what I mean? Like,
I've never understood that.
I know. So, like, you don't know, but like you say, I don't know, maybe they had a bad day or whatever, and they just decide they're going to take it out on the online world, and it's just this vomit that comes flying through the screen, right? And it is disheartening, especially in this little Foxbody world of ours, because, like, let's be honest, we're already fighting with one arm tied behind our back. We like these silly, boxy little Mustangs that, hell, you can talk to, like, through and through Mustang lovers, and they will talk about Fox bodies much like we talk about Mustang 2s. Like, it's another generation that some Mustang lovers just want to forget.
Yep.
And so why the hell would we beat up on our own?
That's the complete opposite. Even so early on, when owning my car, was like, man, I felt like I needed something, and I didn't want that something to be toxic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And again, as I went on learning how, of a niche community this was, and like you said, there's some people that just don't care about it. They refer to it as the Mustang too, and that breaks my heart.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you're absolutely right though, and I don't, because everything happened so fast in that reaction that I don't know. I wasn't even looking towards the future. I just wanted to have a safe place that even if I wanted to ask stupid ass questions, that nobody's going to sit there and bust my ass.
Yeah.
Because the whole thing that started with this is me trying to learn about my car, learn every nut and bolt and know what it does and why it does it and where it's supposed to go.
Right.
That was kind of the goal of it.
Okay, buddy. So just understanding the timeline a little bit more, this was like fresh into you having your black GT.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So you're still like new in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody knows who Jay is.
Not a clue.
You're just a dude with a black GT.
I'm just, yep. I didn't know anybody. The moment I started that group, I knew nobody, not a single person in this community.
Right.
And it stayed that way up until about 2020. I mean, it was a short time, I would say, because I forget the exact day of when the group got started, but I know it was 2019. I want to say it was maybe mid-year 2019.
Yeah.
And at that point, I wasn't really meeting people. I was just very slowly, starting to gain people in the group. And really wasn't meeting anybody until 2020. So that's when the party really got started. I'll say that.
COVID, here we come. Yeah. So, okay. So you're new to the Foxbody world. You start this group, but I mean, at the same time, you've still got all these questions that you're trying to seek answers for. So, I mean, I guess as you're trying to build the Real Foxbody Addicts, you're also doing recon in these other groups if you're brave enough to drop a question in some of these groups, right? So you're doing that whole thing. And meanwhile, I guess, doing whatever you can to post your own stuff in the Real Foxbody Addicts and let people know that group exists, right?
It was really weird how that group, even in the beginnings and how it works. And I've always been curious to even look back if I can and see some of the old posts and things like that, because it started from, when me and my cousin had talked about it, because my cousin's the one that basically runs the group. You know what I mean? He does all the new members and all that stuff. And him and I have talked about it. It was like, man, we were celebrating when we got to 500. You know what I mean? I was like high-fiving him and shit. Like we were over the moon about it, because there was 500 people that and I might not have even had the questions at that moment, but if throughout the process or whatever, if I did have them, I was like, yes, I got 500 folks that might know the answer to the question I haven't even figured out yet,
Totally.
Oh yeah, it was pretty cool. And again, the other thing that's crazy too is when I bought my car, I had no plans whatsoever.
Right.
None. I was just going to keep it stock and just drive the damn thing.
Right.
And then,
okay, buddy. So, let's maybe infuse that into the story. So sometime in and around 2019 or 18 is when you find that's when you find the black GT.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. And so meanwhile, you're trying to figure this car out. You're going to leave it stock. You got a few things to tidy up. I mean, give us the stats on the car when you got it.
So, I'll even give you one more too. It wasn't even when I went shopping for this. Here, you know what? Give me 15 seconds and let me go get a cold one to have with you. You know what I mean?
Copy that, brother. Okay.
The internet in the beginning. So,
Yeah. Gotta get a cold one and you to figure that all out. Okay. Now I made my screen smaller. Oh,
Great Lakes Brewing Company. Best shit ever.
Oh, from the Midwest. I like it. Okay. You'll do me one better. So you got the car sometime in and around late 18, early 19?
Early 19. Yep.
Okay.
It was interesting because I wasn't, only looking at just Fox bodies. And that's the funniest thing in how all this stuff works out. And I always say everything works out for a reason. There was two cars that I kind of, when I came to this point where I'm like, man, I got this hole in my heart I got to fill. What are two cars that I've always loved, but I've never really thought about buying? You know what I mean? I've just, it never really entered my mind in that serious thought, but it was getting kind of serious now. So I'm like, all right, It was going to be a mid-'80s Monte Carlo SS,
Oh yeah.
preferably the
Yeah.
T-tops, or the Foxbody Mustang. And the Foxbody a lot because so many of my friends in high school had them. One of my
Right.
best friends, had a GT, a two-tone GT, and it was just a car that I spent a lot of time in. So that's how that, came into my mind. And I said to myself, whichever one that I find is the cleaner of the color code that I'm looking for, which basically I just wanted a black Monte Carlo or a black
Yep.
Foxbody. I said, whichever one I find first, that's, the cleaner one and the right deal. I said, that's the one that's what I'm going to go with. And
Okay.
lucky for me that I found the Foxbody that I did instead of finding that Monte Carlo. Now I still love the Monte Carlo,
Yeah.
but I didn't realize at the time that when I bought my car, what I was actually getting with that car later on, being the community that came with it.
Right. Okay. Hey, on a quick side note, buddy, what is the car? I want to say it's an Olds, that kind of looks like the Monte Carlo, and or maybe like even a GN kind of looking thing.
Oh, it's like they have the Buick Regal, the Grand National. They're all what they call the G bodies. They're all basically the same cars. There's a Cutlass, I think, that you can kind of fit in that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause I
they're
remember-
all very similar, and they're all G bodies, kind of like Fox bodies. They're G
Yep.
bodies.
Right. Because I know there was a gal that worked with my mom, and they had this. I want to say it was T-tops too.
Yeah, the
And
Monte Carlos had T-tops. I think the Regals, I believe, also had T-tops as well.
Right.
I don't know. The Cutlasses, I'd be saying it would be more of a guess. But the
Right.
Monte Carlos definitely did. And I'm pretty sure that the Buicks did as well.
Right. Yeah, cool cars, man, and cool
I love
times.
I love them. Thankfully, and it was cool too that one of my buddies that I met, because of the cars, has a Monte Carlo that he had just bought. So one of my buddies
Sweet.
that I run around with all the time, he's got an '84 Monte Carlo. You know what I mean? So it's like
Nice.
I kind of get to enjoy the Monte Carlo while owning the Foxbody as well.
Heck yeah.
So it worked out.
Okay, so the Fox presents itself first. So you're Coleman Marketplace or the
Mhm.
local ads, and okay, so this black GT pops up local to you, or
Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
So I'm in Ohio, Cleveland, Ohio, and it's about, I forget the name of the city, but it's a little bit outside of Pittsburgh. So I want to say it's maybe 3.5 hours away from me, something like that.
Okay.
And it was one of those where when I saw that thing there, out of all the cars that I've seen and looked at, this was by far the cleanest version of something I was looking for. It wasn't, I'd say, the perfect spec as I would have preferred,
Okay.
but it was a clean, original, bone stock, rust-free car. And I'm like, can't ask for anything better than that. But yeah, me and my cousin went out there and we looked at it, and it was funny because on the way out there, he asked me, he goes, "Hey, did you bring cash with you?" And I'm like, "No, why?" He goes, "Are you serious?" I said, "Look, I'm not trying to come all the way out here and feel obligated to buy something because we spent some time driving here." He was so pissed in that moment. But thankfully, he's my brother and he understood. I said, if I like it, I said, you bet your ass we're going to come back and get it. And that's exactly what ended up happening. I fell in love with the car when I was there, and we came back, I think it was 2 days later, with cash and bought the car.
Well, that's a weird one, right? And I mean, it kind of gets into the superstitious angle of things, because it's like, if you bring cash, it's probably going to be a turd.
Yep.
Or if you bring a trailer, it's going to be a turd. All those things.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on who you bank with, I mean, if it's that good, you could probably get to the bank that day. I guess depending on your banker's hours or whatever. But okay, so you went out, found it, loved it, and had to do a turn and burn.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah. It was one of those that, like you said, because if you bring cash, it'll be a turd. If you bring a trailer, you'll need the trailer. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It was one of those things to where I didn't want to encounter any of those, because this is a car that I was going to buy and hopefully kind of hold on to for a long time, so I wanted to make sure that my decision was not based on, oh shit, we just drove, 3.5 hours. Now I'm like, oh gosh, I gotta buy this thing. It's close. It's not. Yeah. You know what I mean? But
money will burn a hole in your pocket too.
Yeah. I'm glad I did it that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so was my cousin.
Right.
Because he ended up coming back with me again. So.
Okay. So background stats, like, do you know owners, anything like that? How many hands it's been in?
So on the actual paperwork, I'm technically the second owner. So
Ooh,
the car was
nice.
bought. That's what I thought too. So the guy that I had bought it from owns several cars. Him and his kids, they're big time into it. They own another Fox body. The guy owns a Copperhead Viper. He was doing a what are those called? Like a Pro Touring 69 Camaro. So he was well into this stuff. And he went and bought this car, and he actually resprayed it black because when he had got the car, it was sitting for 7 years. So he got it for a good deal from the original owner. Because this guy has so many cars in his small little town, he didn't have to notarize the title.
Oh.
So it was basically signed over from the original owner, but he never filled in his part. Because most of the time you have to do that in front of everybody. But when a notary that you've done a lot of work with, sometimes evidently in Pennsylvania, you don't have to do that. So he asked me when I bought the car, he's like, hey, I'll put it in my name, to make you feel okay about it. And then we'll transfer to you, or, I'll send you to my notary and you could just keep it. So it stays from original owner to you. And I'm like, I mean, technically I'm still the third owner, but I guess on paperwork, it'd be cool to see that I'm the second owner. So
yeah. Oh,
the
that's
guy
cool.
owned it. Him and his kid only owned it for probably a year.
Okay.
Sat around for maybe 4 months of that. And him and the kid, they resprayed it black. And other than that, everything else was stock.
So is the paint that's on it right now that paint job?
Yes.
Dang, that's a good paint job, dude.
I mean, all things considered, for him and his kid did it.
Right.
They did it in-house because, I mean, as you know, with these Fox bodies, the clear coat just starts peeling. And because this car, had sat, thankfully it sat in a good spot to where no rust happened. You know what I mean? That was the most beauty part about it. But, obviously that paint got cooked, and that was the only thing that car needed. And those guys did that. So when I got it, I was like, shoot. Now, is it your, perfect paint job? Oh, absolutely not. Is it okay for now? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But
you can't beat that, man. I mean, well, I know in the time that I've spent around it, which, well, 2 different shows. And I mean, I know what you mean though. Like, this is, well, coming from you, the owner, and I think in this Foxbody community, we all kind of suffer from this. Like, we're all our own worst enemy.
Oh,
right?
100%.
Somebody says nice car, it's like, whoa, don't get too carried away. Look at this and look at that. And, you know what I mean? We'll just go on and on.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know, dude. I mean, for all intents and purposes, that thing shines like a gem.
I mean, thank you for that. It's shout out to my buddy, Absolute Car Grooming. Yeah, he's the one that, I tried that shit, getting a buffer and all that stuff and learning how to do it and all that. And some things you just got to leave to the professionals when it comes to a black paint job. You know what I mean? If it was red, you know what I mean? Let me dig into a red car. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Black is something it's not for the faint of heart, So, I sent it to him, and, he obviously did a full paint correction, ceramic coating on it. And that obviously did a lot for it. So it helped big time. But you are right. We're definitely our worst critics on these cars. No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah. It's true, man. Okay. So you pick this old girl up, drag it home, and that's kind of where we sort of merge these 2 stories together, where it's like, shit, okay, what am I going to do to this car? I'm going to ask some questions, and then, oh boy, this is kind of like walking into the lion's den with meat on my face.
I mean, it was, much like, even I guess in the world I'm playing in now is like, if somebody asks me if my car is done, I'll always say no, because you never know when that you'll be surfing online and you see something else that's, oh shit, I didn't know that you could do that, or I didn't know that was available, or, however you want to spin it. Well, that's how I was originally. When I had the bones my car, it was running fine. Everything was good. I wasn't trying to take it to the racetrack. I wasn't doing any of that, and it was just kind of, as I'm just kind of, again, growing the group and all that, and so many more people are posting. I'm like, oh, cool, man. What is that? Like a cold air intake? I'm like, well, that looks kind of all right,
Yeah.
Hindsight, it didn't, but shout out to BBK. They got my money, motherfuckers. But I didn't know what I didn't know. You know what I mean? But it was one of those things to where, as as time went on, as I learned more, I saw that there were just more possibilities to make the car just a little bit better.
Right.
And then that's where you go down the rabbit hole. Every time you do, it's just, I'm just going to make the car a little bit better, just a little bit better, you know? So you do this and then you do this and then now you know how it goes. I mean, you got your background, you've been there before, you know the deal.
Many
Many
times.
Kind of how it went, you know?
Yeah. Huh. So when you say bone stock body, like to the mufflers or like,
I still have the factory H pipes in my shed.
Holy shit. Hey.
Oh yeah.
So how many miles were on it?
So the odometer stopped working. It's believed to be, I think it was somewhere between like right around 80,000, 90,000, something like that. So it wasn't like it was a low mile car, but all things considered, being the age that it is, I mean, it was well taken care of. But it was driven, you know, so I think it was right around that 80 to 90. I think 88's the number, conveniently on the year. But I've given up on even caring how many miles it has. So,
totally. Yeah.
It's got a lot now.
Right. Yeah. You enjoy the shit out of it, right?
So drive the piss out of that thing.
Yeah. Interior was in good shape and everything too?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I would say outside of, I think the guy was a smoker, and on the passenger seat, there was just the tiniest of little cigarette burns. But other than that, the interior was perfect. And I was like, all right, well, I'm a smoker, I suppose. I've never burned a hole in a seat, but I'm like, all right, well, I guess I can get it, you know?
Yeah. It'll happen.
Easy. Well, yeah, it was really clean. And that's kind of that's what I was searching for, you know, was not even a blank canvas, but just something that was just untouched. Nobody had their mitts all in it. And that I knew was at least the way that it should have been. And again, that's me not knowing a damn thing about a damn thing. I was at least smart enough to still look for something like that.
Right. You know, buddy, that reminds me, speaking of smoking and Fox bodies. So the amount of center consoles that I've seen with like burn marks, like kind of the U-shaped dart mark that's burnt into the plastic. I'm going like, I can't think of a reason as to why one would want to put a lit dart there, you know? And I mean, especially when you think of the age of these cars. And I mean, if you haven't swapped your car over already, you're fully aware of the fact that they came with an ashtray, and that little U-shaped jobby that's in the ashtray, that's what that's intended for, right? You can kind of work your dart into there and forget about it. So I'm like,
well, they call it a dart. That's fantastic.
But I'm like, yeah, you see these burn marks like up near the shifter boot bezel area. And it's like, are we just sitting on the side of the road hacking darts and setting it there so you can have a swig of beer? Like, what unfolds to make you want to put your cigarette right there? I can never figure it out.
I feel like things back then were just so different. You know what I mean? As far as smoking goes. You know what I mean? Like a whole lot less people smoke these days. You know, you were smoking in restaurants, you were smoking everywhere, fucking airports, on airplanes, I believe at one point. So, you know, that was more the generation where you're lighting them back to back to back. And when you're lighting one off the other and you got a couple lit cigarettes, where do you put them? You know what I mean? You set them down right now, there's a free space. You know what I mean? It's only a theory. You know what I mean? It's only a theory, but yeah, you know, what's funny is I've never even used the ashtray in my own car. Not that I have it anymore. I've got the cup holders now, but like when I looked over there, I'm like, that's just little tiny square or big ass window.
Right.
The odds of me clearing it out the window is going to be much better than putting it in that little tiny canister. So
yeah, true enough. I know, man. I can think back to like, I worked at a detail shop towards the end of the high school years. And I can remember one of the things, if you were doing just like the in and out style, like wash and vacuum, you know, somebody, I don't even know what we would have charged at the time, probably 30 or 40 bucks for like a quick hour tune up. And one of the things that was on the checklist was dump the ashtray.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Just goes to show you. I know. Just goes to show you like how the times were. I know we talked about this a while back about like, you remember when there was like a smoking section in a restaurant, and it's not like that was some sealed off unit either. You know,
No.
like it might have had glass through the center, but both ends were open.
Oh yeah.
And that side's whacking the fags and this side's breathing it.
It was truly amazing how the hell that even worked. But then again, it was the same time where they sold the cigarettes at the end of the grocery aisles. So if you're a kid, you could swoop right up there and right up in your pocket. I think things were just so much more loose then. They had the non-smoking areas just to appease maybe some of the moms, you know, that were going out with their kiddos. But at the same time, like you said, there's no division. It's one side of the room versus the other, and a cloud tends to travel. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But that was the beauty part about the 80s and 90s, though. I
know, right? Yeah. Kids in the car seats, mom's up front, just burning them down.
My mom was one of them. You know what I mean? It is what it is. It's cool to say that I was in a generation, as dumb as this may sound, that I'm in a generation that you could go into a restaurant and smoke a cigarette, that you can enjoy a cigarette at a bar. Yeah. In a bar. Have your beer in one hand and a cigarette in the other. It's cool to say that, you know, as dumb as that may sound. But like there's so many kids nowadays, you know, like some of the young apprentices I work with, they have no idea of that shit. They were born in, you know, 2000, you know what I mean? Or 2025 or whatever. You know what I mean? It's so wild that I've able to say like, oh crap, I'm older than the internet and I've smoked a cigarette in a restaurant, a bar, a shopping mall. Yeah. Like what? It's wild.
I know. It is kind of mind-boggling, right? Well, I mean, it's just like in our generation, we've watched, we caught the tail end of 8 tracks. Yeah. We've watched tapes come and go. We've watched CDs come and go. I know we've seen a lot come and go in our gen, you know. Yeah. But I'm with you though, buddy. Like, I don't think it's silly at all. I think most people would probably agree with that. You know, like it's kind of neat to reminisce about those times, probably mostly because it reminds us of simpler times. Yeah. Right. Where, you know, mom went out for a loaf of bread and a jug of milk and probably a pack of darts. And, you know, that was just part of the shopping list, you know, or fuck, man, I used to help my grandma roll them, you know.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. And dude, I still remember when she got the machine. So there was, there was 2 machines. Holy shit, this is bringing back memories. So I went from the like lick and stick, right? Like rolling joints style cigarettes to this machine where you threw the paper. And I can't remember now if that had a filter on it or not. Maybe it was still just like straight up loose tobacco, right? But anyway, and there was a machine that did it, kind of rolled them tighter and did the thing. And then after that, you'd buy the filter and the paper all tubed up, and then the tobacco portion came in its own little kind of paper wrapper. And
my buddy used to do those things. They're probably different now, but
yeah, and you shoved the 2 together. I think the machine did actually. You put one in one end, one in the other. You shoved them together. But yeah, and it was cheaper to do the U-built option, right? Versus buying a pack of pre-mades. Yeah, man, I'd sit there with her for hours rolling smokes like crazy.
That's so wild. Yeah, I think it's one of those things too, that as I sit here and kind of, you know, reminisce about those simpler things that even in our generation, we're starting to see. I can look even in the years when I was younger, watching my dad have similar conversations with his friends about those simpler times. It's like, oh yeah, old man, you're talking about your simpler times. And it's like years later, I'm like, oh shit, here I am reminiscing about the old, you know, the good old days, even for me at 42 years old. It's like, because I think so much has changed in such a relatively short period of time, you know, so many different things along the way, you know what I mean? Advancements in technology and yada, yada, yada. And just simple rule changes as not smoking in bars and, hey, stop drinking water out of the garden hose. Go get it out of this distilled refrigerator. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that changed, probably sat in a plastic bottle for 5 years before they drank it. Yeah, that whole thing.
How old are you?
45.
Okay, so yeah, you're not too far off. So what does that make,
running around.
81-ish?
Yep, 81.
Yeah, my brother's born 81 as well. So
oh yeah,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I look back on it now, man. I mean, I'm super thankful for the times that we did get to grow up in. You know, like you see some of these videos that fly around. I think quite a few of them are like AI created, so that's a bit of a shame. But they do a pretty good job of showing you, like, you know, the picture of the pedal bikes on the lawn, and like it's just
I
all the
those
yeah, like all
videos, I
these,
love the videos. I've seen those. I love those.
I
They're
know they'll
totally
bring you.
AI.
Yeah,
That's one of the very few instances where, okay, I accept the fact that that's AI because it's bringing me back to something.
yeah, the intention's good, right?
How else? Yeah. How else do you generate that visual feeling of what the hell the 80s and the 90s felt like? There's
Yeah.
no other way to do that. You know what I mean? So, but like, versus all the different AI shit we see nowadays, it's like, dude, you can easily do that without AI. Stop it. But those
Yeah.
videos, it's how the hell they even portray that shit. If you've seen those, you know what I mean, it's a feeling. It's weird.
Yeah. Well, you know, buddy, and here's a throwback. So when you were saying that you and it's your cousin, right, that started the page, okay?
Yep.
When you were saying you got to your 500 followers, subscribers, whatever, members, and you're high-fiving because, like, in the back of your mind, you're thinking, like, holy shit, I've got access to, like, these 500 other members that, you know, we can all go back and forth and talk and do the thing. What crossed my mind when you said that was, I think it was my 13th or 14th birthday. I got my own phone line to, like, plumbed into my room. And I remember feeling the exact same way where, like, all of a sudden you could call anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you had the whole universe at your fingertips to just reach out and do whatever with. So it's weird that we're kind of coming full circle to that again, but that's what crossed my mind when you said, you know, you'd had that big celebration over getting 500 people that you could reach out to and stuff. I was like, fuck, it's just cool. Like getting my own line.
Yeah, it was a cool moment, you know, for so many different reasons, you know, and it just the fact that, oh crap, you know, I didn't even, because again, it was all done out of emotion. I didn't think it was going to go anywhere. And then I was like, well, in a selfish sense, if I ever come into any questions that I may have now, you know, I've got more people that might be able to help me answer, and hopefully not answer me in a savage way like you see in the other groups. So, or saw in the other groups.
100%, buddy. Yeah.
That's how it all got started, man. Pure emotion. And it's sad because I wished I knew how or who that person was, what that kid was with that black coupe with the fender flares. To this day, I haven't seen the car posted again. I don't know if I've just missed it, overlooked it, you know, because I haven't really scoured the internet for it. But it was one of those things I was just, you know, several years after the fact, I would have been, oh, you know, I would have been cool to at least say, hey, man, you are the reason why this all started. Thank you.
Totally. Hey. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a wicked conversation. You know, man, it kind of reminds me of like something that's just happened to, well, not necessarily me, but indirectly me, because it happened to the kids. So we go down to this, it was a ball game in Nashville where, well, Black Rifle Coffee put it on, and they brought out a bunch of country music singers. And it's all based around like servicemen, military vets. They're raising money to help families of the fallen. Like, it's
Black Rifle does a lot of that stuff, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Well, because I've come to find out, like, the owners of Black Rifle are former servicemen, right? And military vets and what have you. So anyway, they had a pretty decent roster of you know, the who's who of the country music scene and everything else. And anyway, there's a country music singer that was actually the captain of the one team, Zach Top. My little one absolutely loves this dude, which is kind of neat because the guy actually, well, I don't know his actual age, but for sure he's younger than we are, probably by about 10, 12 years. Mm-hmm. But his whole shtick is he kind of sings like 80s and 90s style music. which is kind of neat, right? A bit of a throwback, especially for
Oh,
a young.
is that the guy that does like Snoop Dogg, but it makes it sound country?
No, I know who
Oh,
you're
I
talking about.
was
It's
going to
not
say, because
that
I've
guy.
heard that guy before.
Yeah. So yeah, this Zach Top sound all of his own, or I guess a bit of a throwback sound, if you will. But anyway, my little one notices at the end of the game that there's a bit of a crowd forming down the bleachers, and lo and behold, at the far end of it on the field is Zach Top standing there. She's like, "Dad, holy shit! Like I think we can meet him." I'm like, "Well, buddy, now's your chance. Let's go do this, right?" So we line up. We're I don't know, maybe 3/4 of the way up the bleachers, and this is it's the Nashville Sounds that play there, so like kind of a minor league ball team. So not a huge stadium, but let's say we're 75, 80 feet before we can meet them, and there's probably at least 50 people in between us and Zach Top. So we're standing there patiently waiting. My little one is just vibrating, right? And we get down, we're probably like, I don't know, 10, 12 people away from getting a chance to meet him. And I could hear this like kind of screechy, scratchy voice coming from behind us. And as it gets closer, it goes, "All right, that's enough. Everybody out of here. Autographs are over, blah, blah." It's this fucking Karen that I turn around and look. Sure enough, she's wearing like the ball stadium gear. So she works there and okay, maybe wants to get home after a long day or whatever. But I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, don't do this, lady. Like I know you don't know that there's a 10-year-old standing in front of me that is like beaming more than she beams at Christmas for just the thought of being able to talk to this fella. And you're going to carve that away from her. Like, are you psychotic? You know,
That's just sad on so many different levels.
dude. And it just makes like, I couldn't help but think, oh, there he is. Hey, bud.
He's not under the car.
So I couldn't help but think at the same time, like, you know, similar to whoever the individual was that owned that black coupe, you know, it's like, why would you do this to someone? You know what I mean? Like, and I get it. Maybe you don't understand the context of it all. You came in too quick, whatever. But like, I guess the lesson in all this is, you know, like take 5, you know what I mean? Before you just go jumping on the bandwagon of lighting people up or ruining a kid's dreams or whatever it is, you know?
You would think the lady would have like maybe, I don't know, like kind of looked through the line a little bit and say, all right, who's in line here before I just, you know, cut the whole line out and make sure that you're not going to see anybody whose heart going to be broken. You know what I mean?
Or something in between, you know, like maybe if you still want to be an old bag, well, pick your invisible line where it's like, hey guys, right here after those, no more, or something to that effect, you know, and explain yourself. Like, listen, you know, we get in trouble if we don't have this place cleaned up by such and such a time. It was just miserable. Like, everybody out of here. The fun's over kind of stuff. I'm like, what a bitch.
I don't understand how people like that even enjoy their lives whatsoever. I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, Jade, I think
find happiness. Maybe they're happy, I guess. I don't know.
No, see, buddy, I think that's the problem. They aren't. And therefore they got to take it out on everyone else. Right? They're just living a miserable existence. And yeah, they take it out on others, which going back to like how the Foxbody Addict starts, you know, like, yeah, I don't know. You just get some people out there that are having a rough go or whatever, and misery loves company. So it's like, let's just go out there and cause a bunch of shit.
I remember when you said something about, it's like, oh, when people maybe have a bad day at work and they get home and they're just, you know, rah-da-da-da-da on the old keyboard. Is that like the new go home and beat up your dog? Like, does nobody go home and like beat up their dog anymore? They just got to go on the internet and just, you know, fucking belittle everybody. And like, what happened to just going up and beating up, you know, Fido? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, isn't that what stereotypically it used to be? You know, you have a bad day at work, you take it out on the dog, you know?
Yeah.
Now I feel like you have a bad day at work, you go on the computer and you take it out on as many people as you can.
Yeah. That, or yeah, maybe they've already beat the shit out of the dog and the wife. Who knows, right? And now it's just time to light up people they're never gonna see in person. You know,
Man, for the people out there that pray, say a prayer for those people. You know what I mean?
yeah.
That's all I could say
It,
about that.
you know, buddy, I've reached a point in life, like I used to get pretty like hot over all this stuff, and like almost to a point where you're kind of wishing ill will on those that do shit like this. And I've actually, the older I got, the more I look at it a little differently. Like I kind of, actually, I truly do feel sorry for those people because they are, I can't even imagine the misery they must live within to want to do that and feel like it's okay to do that to someone else.
Oh yeah.
You know?
It was 3 phases I feel like that I've gone through with shit like that. You know, where I used to get pissed about it. And then it would be, karma's a bitch. Karma's going to get him. You know what I mean? And now it's to the point, like you said, where it's just like, you feel bad for somebody like that. That's that pathetic in their life that they're just taking it out on everybody else, you know, or just life's not going in their direction. I feel more bad for them, you know, rather than even rooting for karma or, you know, just, you know, having ill will, you know what I mean? It's now I feel bad for those type of people. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
What are you going to do? You know what I mean? That's the way the internet rolls. It's a double-edged sword. You know, it's an information share and it's a platform for people to talk shit, I guess, you know.
It's true, man. I know. And the weird part with all of this is, you know, we live in, well, at least in the first world here, or whatever we're told, we live in a free country, right? And so people are entitled to do this type of stuff. But I just can't help but think there's something in between all that. And I'm not promoting, you know, some sort of overlord or anything. Like this is more an internal thing, like a self-regulation type deal, you know, where if you're having a rough go, like, I don't know, just go out in the trees and scream at the pine cones or something. You know what I mean? Like, don't ruin someone else's day. I don't know. It's just, not good.
It's wild. But I mean, that's at least, you know, with the real
misery loves company though, right?
Oh yeah, they sure do.
You got to bring them down. It's just like, you know, fuck that guy. He's doing better than me, or screw him. His car's running, mine's not. You know what I mean? So you got to go after, because it's all like that whole projection that you're doing on other people. Like that's just the human behavior aspect of it, right? Like, unfortunately, that's just the way that humans behave sometimes.
Yeah, I know. Definitely not the same amount of decorum, I don't think, anyway, that we had pre-internet or even pre any of that stuff, you know. Like it's definitely nothing like at least the movies portray the 50s were, or the 60s, you know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know. Well, anyway, fuck, we could bitch about that all night, Jay. So
even get on this topic. Is it like, is the Real Foxbody Addicts like overrun with a bunch of misery or what?
Oh no. It's basically, that's what the group was built on. The long and short of it was avoiding all of that. You know, I think the members in our groups, maybe I think 25,000, and we would have exponentially more, but we've either removed people or just don't let people in because they didn't take the time to answer their group questions. You know what I mean? The question is just, what year Fox do you own? If none, type none. Then it was, and I did that basically because, well, one, for the scammers, but two, if you feel like you're too good to stop and just answer that question, then what benefit do you provide to the group? You know what I mean? Like, as far as, you know, adding to, you know, maybe somebody's question or asking your own questions, you know? So, but that's basically the basis of the topic is avoiding all that type of shit. And that's the reason why my group got started, was to have a place for people to post, whether they're brand new to the community or well into their build, you know, and they need help, you know, and don't want to ever have to worry about who's going to talk shit. What am I, like, you see people asking these questions and they'll post anonymously because they don't want to get ridiculed. You know what I mean? Like, there's a certain part, like I laugh too, but there's a certain part where it's like, well, shit, from what I've seen, I get it. You know what I mean? Like if you're a little sheep, why are you going to walk into a field full of wolves? You know what I mean? When you can maybe shout at the tree line, hey guys, you know what I mean? Rather than just running in there, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, Chris, to answer that, that's how it all, what topic we're on is, you know, kind of the basis of what the hell the little group got started on.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Gary was worried that you were under some jack stands and that the jack stands, you know, maybe didn't do their job. He was worried about you, man.
No, it's been a very busy few days, and I just knew, because I told him, I'm like, man, I'm good like 7:30, 8 o'clock, and he's mentioned you were on Eastern time zone, which I can appreciate. And yeah, so I did my best. And the worst part is I committed, because tomorrow, normally I cook on Fridays, and tomorrow I've got some obligations, so I'm not going to be able to cook. So the wife's like, oh, I'm going to take out these steaks from the fresh cow that we just picked up, that got chopped up in the spring here. And so I was like committed to cooking steak and like doing this other shit as well. And then of course she's like pouring me a glass of wine, and I'm like, God damn it. I'm like, I'm trying to get shit done here. Like I put enough time aside, but you guys know how that goes.
Absolutely. Hey, you made it.
Yep.
Yeah, I did.
Which of course I'm glad, because much like me and Gary were talking, it's like same thing with you. I feel like, you know, we see each other so many different events, but oh man, you know, hey, it's just real quick, you know, like I get pulled in the direction, you get pulled in the direction, or I walk by, maybe I'm free and you're talking to somebody, and it's just like, you know, we'll catch you next time. And it's like, oh man, you know. But
like, what is the next time? Or it's always like you have the best intentions in the world, right? Like, oh, I'll catch you after the show. Or it's like, oh, I'm, you know, going to be at like 3 days before the show. I mean, because like we've started doing pretty good. Like even, well, Foxtoberfest, I think it's Tuesday, if not Wednesday. Like you think there's so much time there. And then all of a sudden it's like, boom.
Yep.
Damn. Catch you at the next one.
Yep. And it's, you know, like I mentioned to Gary too, it's like, that's kind of a good thing though, that, you know, when we're all there, we're having enough fun, you know, to the point where it's okay. You know what I mean? We'll catch up, you know what I mean? But we're having so much fun there, and there's just so much stuff going on. I'd like to say that's a good thing, you know, trying to look at the positive side of things. But hey, we're all here now, so that's kind of cool. Yeah, I see it, Gary. Like I told you, I should have done mine. I should have done this in the garage. Look at my lighting and background compared to, you know,
dude, I was like, I walked out and I was like, shit, because everything was left since the Murillo pod, because we were on the sofa. And I had both my like headers that just came back from Cerakote sitting on here, and like shit, I gotta actually use the webcam now. Nothing's set up properly. So yeah, it's a little bit of a shit show today.
Speaking of which, and I've said this, if you ever listen to my shit on the 5-0 Asylum, I told those guys I'm not a big podcast guy. Sometimes I don't get the free time, you know, to be able to, and I can't just, you know, a 15-minute ride to work or 20-minute ride to work. You don't get a piece of it. You know what I mean? I can't listen to it in 6 segments. You know what I mean? So, however, you know, I've been trying to get into them a little bit more now. You know, at work, I've got a little bit more ability to be able to just throw in the headphones. But when I knew you guys had the Mike Murillo coming on, I was like, oh, Mike Murillo is a cool individual, man. Like that's one of the guys that I got a lot of respect for. I've been fortunate enough to meet him twice myself. And my old decal, not, you know, the new logo, but he was gracious enough to, you know, I asked him, I said, hey, if I send you one, would you throw it on your car? And he's like, hell yeah. So I sent him one of them, and he actually had it on his car. And, you know, and that was just the coolest shit, you know. The car that was on TV. So there was actually one time that I see it, you know, I was like, oh, Mike, you didn't have to do that, man. I just thought it was so cool. You know, he's such a down-to-earth, real dude, you know, and you wouldn't expect that out of somebody you see on TV, you know. So it was always cool to learn more about that guy and you guys' podcast. That was a cool one.
Yeah, the stories, hey, like just endless.
The day that his car caught on fire, you know, and he was breathing and all that stuff, that was actually the first day that I had seen my decal on the side of his car.
Oh, really?
He was such a cool guy. When I told him, you know, he's seen me staring at the back of his wing because the way his jacket was over the side, it was covering up where I thought it was, you know, so I'm staring at it, and he noticed that. And I told him who I was, and he's just like, oh man, you know, come on in here, you know, and he showed me around his trailer and all that. And showed me around the car, and it was just like, I was just shocked. You know what I mean? Like, holy crap, this dude is, he might be, a real Foxbody guy here. He's not just, he didn't just choose that to, to put an engine in and race it, and it was pretty cool, man. And then they were going to give me more of the tour. He had said, hey, when I get back from this run, stop back over, I'll have more time to chat, because it was going to be his last run for the night. And then obviously we all know how that panned out. And yeah, but that dude is just so genuinely cool, man. And it was cool to be able to sit there and, and listen to you guys and learn more about it, man. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. The backstory is always fun.
Oh, 100%. Even your guys' backstories. I was definitely intrigued to tune in and listen to that. I mean, from an outsider perspective, you've got a guy that's moving from Canada and packing up his family and, starting a business. You got another guy from Canada that took his shit to Dubai for, you know what I mean? Like, holy crap, how two different paths led to similar places, you know what I mean? And it's just, wow. Now I wanted to hear those stories, because there were just little tidbits of it. Chris, with your story, there was, from what I'd heard, it was just maybe little tidbits here and there. I'm like thinking, what the hell? How did he? Because I think the first time I saw one of your videos is when I think you were in Dubai. I think you had that Lightning, I believe, was one of the vehicles you had at the time, was, I believe, in Dubai. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I did, yeah.
I'm like, how is this on my YouTube? What is he doing over there? And there was just so much that I had questions about, and it was cool to hear the story. So
yeah, it's funny. People still get confused. I got a comment, I want to say maybe it was like yesterday, like, oh, are you in Canada or are you in Texas? Like, it just still to this day, because like sometimes people watch an old video, and funny enough, on Facebook today I put a old video of a BMW up on, and this guy in Kuwait's like, man, are you in Dubai right now? I'm like, no, dude, that was like back in 2020. He's like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
I saw that post today, and I thought, I'm like, this, if I wouldn't have listened to that podcast, I probably could have asked myself that same question. Like, oh gosh, where in the world is Chris now? You know what I mean? Like, is he back over there? Like, hold on. But yeah, it was cool, man. I can only imagine.
And I told, so the guy who asked me if I was there, he's in Kuwait, and he's actually a fellow Canadian guy as well, aviation mechanic, if I remember correctly. And we jumped on a consult because he was trying to buy this Foxbody back in Canada. And he's like, yeah, when I go back for my, annual holidays in the summer, I'll be able to drive it. And well, the deal fell through. And I said to him, like, well, why don't you try and find a Fox in Kuwait? Like, there's actually a good number of them. So I shit you not, man, a week goes by and he's like, dude, I found a black GT. And he's like, I think I'm going to buy it. So he buys it. And, I was trying to help him put like a, what would you call it? Like almost like an emergency part list, right? Or like the common failure things. Because obviously you're in the Middle East. It's not like you're just going to go to the parts store and grab a TFI module or a coil or, just stupid bullshit that might go wrong. So, yeah, we were going back and forth on that. And I said to him, like, man, I would love to actually get back over there. Me and Gary have talked about this because before COVID hit, I had a plan of leaving the Middle East in the end of 2020. But before I left, I was actually planning like Bahrain, Kuwait, Saudi, and like going to like different of the GCC countries to get Foxbody interviews with the guys out there, right? And to get some footage and everything. Now, part of me thinks, because I was sort of like very early into like my reintroducing myself to the online world, like it would have been so good that it would have failed because it was like so early. But like, I think now there's enough traction and bandwidth that would actually do quite well. So I joked with him today. I'm like, dude, just need like a little GoFundMe or something like that. Caught me an Emirates flight back over there and go get some content.
It's truly amazing because like even in, the Facebook group, I can see the different analytics of where people are from being members of the group. And it's truly amazing. And now we filter the shit out of these. Are not, scammer profiles we filter the crap out. And these are, what we believe to be our honest owners that are just all over the damn world. And people you see that are posting pictures, and you can look at the damn license plate and realize, holy shit, that is not American. That is not Canadian. You know what I mean? Like that. I've never seen that plate in my life, you know? And it's just wild to see how far these cars have really made it around the world, man. So if you start a GoFundMe, consider me donating something to that damn it, because how else are we going to get that content? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. That's just good,
cool.
man. Yeah. And actually, I had another guy posted, because I did that whole on-site, whatever, mobile mechanic shit last week up in Virginia. So this guy is like, oh, you know, I did the same thing. You know, I traveled to this state and that state. But then when he was saying state, he was actually talking like different states of Australia. And
damn.
I don't know if he insinuated in the comment or if we took it offline, because I'm like, oh, where are you from? So he messaged me directly on Facebook. And I guess he's like big into DeLoreans, but a Foxbody guy as well that watches a channel. So he sends me this shit. What's that? Like, it's not sand beige. I think tropical yellow. Is that like the one color?
Oh, is that
I think
that's the BF Goodrich color, right? That, you know, that yellow coupe,
like,
that's the BF Goodrich.
Banana Series car behind him, like it is a lighter yellow, like more pastel-y, but I don't think it's sand beige, but it was like tropical yellow on tan convertible. And what did he say? He's like, 2 more years and I can register it here and not have to convert it to right-hand drive. So it's already there, just not registered. And which I thought was super cool. So I asked him, like, dude, like, how's the DeLorean market over there? Because, like, you don't see that many even here. And I think he said it's either there's 50 or 100 in all of Australia, which I thought was actually quite high, regardless of which number that is.
When I hear that number, I'm thinking, like, wow, I didn't even know that there'd be 50 or 100 DeLoreans even left.
I know, right?
I mean, that's good, but damn, yeah, make it all the way out to Australia. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Well,
Hey,
tropical yellow, I'm pretty sure that's that BF Goodrich car. If you're familiar with the one I'm talking about, the one that used to be like, you know, the big yellow poster said BF Goodrich on it. I've seen that car in person. It's a more toned down version of Gary's car and more like a pastel. And I believe it is.
Yeah,
like, I think that's the color code of it.
Yeah.
I've seen that. Gorgeous color, by the way. And that's the same tan interior that he has on that coupe too.
Right.
Just
I want to say, like, I think all those tropical or sand beige came on tan. Like, I could be wrong, but it just sort of seems like that was the thing. It's like inside matches the outside.
It's that weird, like you were talking about with the white car with the blue interior and all that. It's not a like, oh, that's the one I'm going to the, you know, to the factory and picking out that color combo. But when you see it, it's like, oh shit, that does look pretty damn good. Much like, you know, that pastel yellow with the beige interior. It's never anything on paper that I'm going to select. But when you see it, it's just like, oh, damn, that looks surprisingly good, you know, all things considered, you know, and it's interesting color combos there.
Hey, just one more quick note on the DeLoreans, boys. I think I want to say I've mentioned this on a podcast before, but for anyone that missed it, the DeLorean story is worth looking up. You can find it on YouTube. It's a mind boggler. Like, there's a point in that story where Mr. DeLorean himself, I think he had borrowed credit from like the Queen of England or something to that effect. And something went sideways with the deal. And she had enough like oomph behind her money that I think he was forced to load however many DeLoreans that he had already pre-made and run them out in the middle of the ocean and push them off the edge of the boat. Oh, dude, it's a fucking wild story. Like, watch it. Yeah, it's really truly worth a watch. And then I think
go ahead.
There was something here recently where they're trying to reinvigorate the brand again.
I thought I've heard that recently, but I wasn't sure how much truth there was to that. You know what I mean? But I've heard that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the same thing as like you hear people bringing back the Firebird brand and all that. You know, I've heard that, and I think somebody has done it. You know, they basically take new Camaros and chop them up and make them look like a Firebird. So it's, I don't know how much.
Yeah.
But I've heard that with DeLoreans that they're going to be bringing them back, and they're a cool car and all that. But I don't know how well they would do today.
Well, I know I've seen the concept of this reinvigorated DeLorean. And I mean, because when you think about just on paper, if someone was to explain to you what the DeLorean was in the 80s, you start picturing like a supercar, right? Motor in the back and stainless body and all these things, gull wing doors.
Mm-hmm.
So if you took all those ingredients, let's just say you like threw that into AI, like probably what it's spitting out is going to be pretty kick-ass. Like you're getting some sort of hypercar looking thing.
It'll be like a Lambo SLS combo.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only thing I can think of when I could think of a modern version of a DeLorean is like basically taking like a Lambo SV and smashing it with a Mercedes SLS. Simply for the gull wing doors, you know what I mean? But just taking those two smash. If I had any type of AI apps on my phone, which I don't, I would look that up right now, and I would actually love to see what something like that would look like.
Yeah.
Like if you asked to basically take a DeLorean and make it modern, and then maybe even ask it to take a Lambo and an SLS and combine them.
Yeah.
Maybe, and then tell it to make it aluminum color or whatever, and just see how off they are, or how close they are.
Yeah. Only if it comes with a flux capacitor.
Oh, you gotta have that.
That's
right.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
it's funny because I don't even know if I've seen a DeLorean without one. Because most of the times they're all the Back to the Future, replicas.
Yeah.
It's like a red Lightning. It's always got the Racer's Edge logo on the door.
Yeah. True enough. Okay. So anyway, we kind of drifted off the unfolding of the Foxbody Addicts here, buddy. So 2020 hits, right? You got 500 members, and you're still kind of working away on your GT. Mm-hmm. And where do things go from there?
I could say Mustang Week is basically how it all kind of, I guess, went to the next spot. So my cousin and I, we had heard about Mustang Week. I watched a YouTube video. I was like, oh man, that does kind of look cool. Hey, Dan, you want to go try this? He's like, yeah. So we went down there for the unofficial Mustang Week. It was on, then because of COVID, they canceled it, but we had already had everything booked, time off of work. We were going, and everyone obviously still went as well. And I'm so glad that I did, because number one, that's when I started to meet some of the people in this community that I was just like, oh man, this is kind of cool. And then for whatever reason, while I was down there, I think I went live in the group, just because I think I was at Suck Bang Blow. I might even have been Harris Lou's retro meet. And it was just like, you guys, if you've never been here, you're not going to believe this shit. Because for me, seeing it for the first time, I was fucking blown away. Just the whole atmosphere of that bar. And if you guys have been there, you may be able to appreciate that, but it is so different. So I went live on the group, and it was slowly but surely that just from that Mustang Week, people talking about the group, it just started to that's when it really, gained traction, I guess you can say, from me going live at Mustang Week, maybe the algorithm threw it a bone or something. I don't know, but it was, for me, seeing the things in person and then the group kind of growing at the same time, that Mustang Week had a lot of that impact.
No kidding. Yeah. Cause so at that time, what Mustang Week falls in, or would have fallen in April.
That was September.
Right.
So when I started going, it was in September. And I think the original Mustang Week, they used to do it in June or July, in one of the fucking torching months.
Right.
So for the most part, when I went, it was all September, except for that 1 year, the last, Mustang Week, and they sold us on the fact that it's the last Mustang Week. And then they switched it back to June or July, and it was absolutely awful. It was, miserable, hot. So September was when it, for the times that I went.
Well, the reason I asked, buddy, I was just trying to get my head around, like, yeah, because this is like 2020 we're talking. Mm-hmm. So this is the heat of at least the start of the whole pandemic bullshit.
Yep.
So, okay, but that one happened in June where you went live?
That was September.
September, right?
Yeah. Yeah, the one that they did in June wasn't until Chris, what was it? 21, I think was when they had sold it. I think that was when they called it the last one at the beach or some shit like that. I think it might have been 21 or 22, somewhere in that ballpark. But yeah, the previous, 2020 year that I went was definitely in September.
Okay, right.
Because isn't that the year that Kona got rear-ended?
Yeah, I was there that year, but I don't know if it was 20 or 21. That was the most gut-wrenching sound, hearing that. I mean, I was probably 100 feet away. That might have been the second year that I went, I'm pretty sure, which would have made it 21, I think.
That's not a video or a story you want to be known for, hey? Jeepers.
Worst part about it is
kudos to him for rebuilding, though. You know what I mean?
Oh,
some people just pack that shit in and been done with it, but like he took that and ran with it, man.
Sure did. Yeah, that whole story, Gary, if you don't even know that story, the short of it is the guy he wasn't even in the car. He was drunk as hell back at his condo sleeping because he got fucked up on his birthday, and his buddy took the car out.
Right.
And his buddy was driving the car, and I mean, you could have had anybody was driving, it wouldn't have mattered because he got hit from behind. So, but yeah, the guy wasn't even there. You know what I mean?
Oh.
Yeah. So yeah, that would have made it even harder. Like you were saying, Chris, I'd have been like, I'm fucking done. You know what I mean? So like,
and didn't the guy that hit him end up being all shit faced too?
Oh, he was driving. He was right. Well, he took off, and they later caught the guy because there were so many videos. You know what I mean? Because this was it. I don't want to like call it the gauntlet, but it was just like the Mustang Week gauntlet where you roll through the gauntlet and everyone wants you to do a burnout. That's why this idiot in the white truck was doing a burnout. What? Who invited a white Chevy to a Ford Mustang show? Nobody still knows that to this day. But
if it wasn't a Chevy, I'm sure a Mustang would have lost control and hit something.
But in this case, it was a Chevy. Yeah. So there were so many people recording, what was going on at the time. And it's funny because you can see my dumbass in the background of so many of these videos. And, but yeah, so many people were recording. So they were able to get the description of the car, the light or the truck, the license plate. So they were quick to get the guy. But yeah, he ended up being, getting a DUI or something along those lines. So yeah, that was sad. No doubt about it.
Does anyone know if the buddy that was driving the Kona Stang was supposed to be driving it? Like, was this cleared with?
I think he had permission, as I remember it. Okay. I think he had permission. Because if my memory serves me, he wasn't drunk. Right. Even though the owner was. I'm not 100% sure on that, but that's how I think I understood it, as to where everything was fine with that dude driving. And I'm not.
I could see it because, like, some people are like, I'm very quick to give the keys to somebody and just say, take the car. In fact, at the last pits, because Dom was down, and I was just like, I forget where I was. Oh, we were gone to pick up my better half. So I'm just like, hey, want an extra car? There's an extra car. Go take it, So then there's the other people where it's like, don't open my driver's door without my permission, right? So I'm assuming, like, Gary would be one half shit faced. He'd be like, I don't know. Actually, Gary, would you say get my car home, or what would you do if you had too many?
Maybe sleep in it. Well, here's the thing. Like,
Gary, that's probably what I would do too.
Yeah. Well, no, and like, this isn't to sound like a yutz or whatever, but like, the car is like it's got a personality, right? So like, throwing the keys to you two, no big deal. But like, if you were just going to find some random bird to drive you home, that would be a real rough go, right?
Okay, when's the last time pros driven the Green Dragon?
It's actually been a little while, but she does tell a story where, she had, oh hell, I may as well tell you guys the whole story. So we, coming home from a little summer holiday with our camping trailer, I'm like halfway through the drive home, to pull over, get a coffee, right? Sun's going down, and I'm thinking to myself, man, like, I'm just in that mode of nice and relaxed post holidays, and I'm I'm watching the sun go down. I'm like, what a wicked week that was, you know? Deer jumps up out of the weeds, boom, hammer him. Did I freeze on you boys?
Yep.
So
You can hear me?
Yeah, your voice is good, but your audio or video is not.
Okay. Well, shit. I guess we'll leave me looking in that weird moment and see if I unfreeze. But anyway, so boom, hammer this deer, and like pretty bad too. Drive the bumper into the tire. Got to get out there. Like me and my buddy bending the bumper off the tire. Truck goes into the body shop because when we made the claim, the headlight was kind of duct taped in place, and that deems it as not a write-off, but an unsafe vehicle to be on the road. So truck goes in to get fixed. We get a black Dodge half-ton. My wife's like probably 6-7 months pregnant at the time, and she was driving the truck the one day into work. She parks in this underground parking lot, and on her way in, she's getting her ticket out of the little ticket booth. And you know, they put the orange or the yellow poles on either side of the ticket booth for people like my wife. She fucking drags the yellow poles down the side of that black Dodge. So now we got 2 trucks. One we own, one we're renting, both in the body shop. We're running out of vehicles. I'm like, well, fuck, I guess you'll have to take the green car, right? So 7 months pregnant, throw her the keys to the green dragon, and yeah, she's doing her thing, driving that thing around town. There was a moment where she had to call me somewhere, wherever the hell she went with it, and she couldn't get it into reverse. And actually, that kind of justifies where I'm going with this whole thing, because yeah, like, well, a lot of these cars have an attitude, right? Reverse can be goofy to find in them, even in stock ones. So yeah, I would, like I say, I would throw the keys to you guys. I know Josh Kennedy listens to the pod. He and I talk about this type of shit all the time. It's like when you got a car that doesn't like to always behave when you pull up to a stop sign or a street light or whatever. And if you didn't grow up driving 2-stroke dirt bikes, you probably don't know what the fuck you're doing. So the thing's going to fall on its face, and then it won't start for you. You don't know to hold it to the floor, and clearly injectors, blah, 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 right? So, yeah. Fuck, let me see if I can get a camera going here, boys. This is goofy.
There was a minute when both you guys were frozen. I'm like, oh, well, at least mine. Well, like,
Really?
video was.
Right.
Jeez. Are you using your GoPro as your camera again, Gare?
Yeah.
Oh, must be it. Oh, there you go.
Okay.
Your
Now you guys can see my GoPro. So CJ, this is a pretty haggard operation, buddy.
It still looks fancy from this angle. I can't see all the rest of the business.
Okay, let's
like
see if we
the tinfoil tray.
Oh, here we go.
There you go.
Little reboot action.
Yeah, my background could and lighting could definitely use some improvement. Note to self. But I was more concerned about my internet signal out in the garage. So
right.
It's good for, you know, when I take, you know, like if I'm using a TV out there, you know, streaming, you know, TV out there, it's fine. But with the camera and all that stuff, I'm like, yeah, let's stay in the house today.
Totally. Okay. Anyway, buddy. Yeah, no, I was just trying to like fill in some of the blanks on the story with respect to like you, I guess, building this group with the intention of having a safe space, so to speak, for, you know, the Real Foxbody Addicts to come and converse and ask advice. And in the meantime, you're building your car.
Mm-hmm.
And so following Mustang Week, this little group of yours that gets started out of spite just fucks right off and has its own personality.
It's just, yeah, and it just kind of went from there. And it's
wild, man.
The best part about it is and I'm proud to say this too, because the Real Foxbody Addicts, even from the beginning, has been built on and grown just naturally. You know, everything that I've done, you know, it's always been because somebody else has influenced me to do it. You know what I mean? Like, hey, why don't you try this? Or why don't you do this? You know, like, for example, my Instagram. The only reason I even have my Instagram with the Real Foxbody Addicts is because of a buddy of mine that I went to high school with, who's had the same Foxbody since high school. And he says, you know, he saw how the group was going and, you know, the conversations in there and all that. And he says, well, why don't you do the Real Foxbody Addicts on Instagram? I said, why? He goes, well, because I don't like going on Facebook. I'm like, what? So he's basically telling me like, hey, provide me with some Foxbody content and do it on Instagram. And I'm like, I mean, okay. So, you know, it was just slowly but surely, just every single time it was some type of thing that, hey man, try this, or, you know, try that, or why don't you make a logo, you know, for your group, you know, because the one that my friend and I, Kim, had made on her Cricut, you know, those, you know, little freaking cutter sticker makers, was the cheesiest crap I had ever seen, you know, but it was okay. My friends asked for it. This is what we got now, you know, and again, my friend's asking me one more time, hey, do something better than that, you know, as far as just creating a logo for the group. And it's just one thing led to another. Hey, why don't you start a YouTube channel? For what? Well, because we liked when you went live while you were at Mustang Week. We want to see the behind the scenes shit that most people that make videos don't show. You know, so everything that I've done with that, you know, with the name has always been by the inspiration, in some cases, the demands of my friends and my peers, you know. So it's been awesome, man. It's none of this shit has been planned, and it's just been shooting from the hip since day one. And that's what's made it fun.
Nice.
Well, you know what's neat about that? I had this conversation with a buddy today. Chris and I have this conversation all the time. I mean, we're having it on this podcast. Oscar, Third Pedal Foxbody, he brings this up. And then even to throw another thing into the mix, like Jay, you brought up the Tom Schwenzer versus the infamous project, Tom Schwenzer versus Castle Customs interview kind of things, right? And to hear you say this too, where it's like, yeah, you know, like I've heard bits and pieces of the story, but never really heard the soup to nuts version, whatever. Well, where I'm going with all this is like, even when it comes to, say, like one of us putting a video out, right? And we're like, oh, like I don't need to put that part in there because that's just me tightening a Phillips screw. You know what I mean? Or whatever the case may be. But then I've come to find out a fairly significant amount of people going like, well, I want to know how to tighten that screw and or how tight to make the screw or whatever that looks like. And I'm like, Jesus, like maybe we are all our own worst enemies. Because like you said it, Jay, it's like, why don't you film the things that, you know, nobody else thinks to film or nobody else thinks is going to be relevant or important? And it's actually, it turns out there's a heck of a lot more people out there looking for that than there are the stuff that a lot of us are putting out there.
I mean,
sadly,
I think that's the only reason why. Now, again, my YouTube channel is, and I'm horrible at it. You know what I mean? I post inconsistently. I still haven't even finished up the Ponies and the Smokies videos yet because I'm terrible at it. And I think the people, you know, that I think they get it by now. But you know, Chris, I'll use you as an example. You know, like your videos are different. You know what I mean? So when you go to these events, you may show a quick recap of some of the highlights or something like that. And that's a lot of the times what, you know, other YouTubers will do, you know, is because their shtick, their genre in their videos is different. You know what I mean? And it was like, man, it's cool to see the quick recaps. You know what I mean? But it was like, for me specifically, when I saw, and I forget who the hell the YouTuber was that got me to go to Mustang Week, but I started to see different events that I wasn't seeing in some of the pictures. And then, you know, so it was one of those things to where, you know, the things that we do, that we genuinely have fun shooting the shit in the hotel parking lot, you know, or the behind the scenes stuff, the shit that gets us to keep coming back. Because to be honest with you, I don't go to these shows to go park my car at, you know, for example, Foxtoberfest. And I love that show, my favorite show. But I don't go to each one of these like Prestige Motorsports, for example. Love those guys. I'm only using them as an example. But I don't go to these shows, you know, to do the same shit over and over again. You know, I go there to shoot the shit with my friends, you know what I mean? Just hang out. And it's just a different location that we're hanging out. So I try and portray that shit in the videos, you know what I mean? And show kind of the whole show, you know, kind of to get people off their asses. It's like, you know, Danny with Neo Mustangs, his big thing is get your shit off the jack stands. You know what I mean? It's get your car on the road and come get it out of your local neighborhood. You know what I mean? And go drive it around in some unfamiliar territory with some really cool people. You know, so, and I think, you know, there's been people that have come up to me and said, man, you're the only reason I've came to Foxtoberfest for the first time because of your videos. And it's like, that just warms my heart. You know, I only got a couple thousand subscribers, which is perfect for me, but it's cool to see that it has gotten some people, you know, to get their car and bring it to an event. You know what I mean? It's super cool. But
yeah,
each and every one of those things has always been influenced by somebody else, which is the cool part about it. I'm a terrible YouTuber. It is what it is. So
we all say the same thing, though. We all think we're terrible.
Yeah, well, I mean, now, like me and Gary were talking about before, we are our own worst critics. However, I can actually say that I'm bad at this shit because of how inconsistent I am. And not to mention that the only videos that I post is just at shows. So if I don't go to shows, there's nothing to post. So there'll be months that go on with nothing to post. And it's perfectly fine. I think the subscribers that I do have kind of understand that, you know, so it's not like I'm not going to go out in the garage and start tossing wrenches around. You know what I mean? There's enough guys that are,
You're seasonal.
Yes, very much so. You know, the way I look at it is there's guys that are much smarter than me. And I mean, in the aspect of like you guys, both you guys, for example, you guys are able to articulate how and why to do things that you're doing to your cars. Just because I wrench on all my shit doesn't mean I'm going to go out there and try and teach people to do the shit I'm learning how to do. You know what I mean? So it's for me, because people have asked me, oh, why don't you go out there, you know, with like all the stuff I did to my car this winter. They're like, oh, why don't you record that? For what? You know what I mean? Like, I don't want anybody to watch that. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. I don't want, you know what I mean? Like, you know, so I stay in my lane, you know, when it comes to that. So it was cool because, you know, doing the event style videos, there wasn't really anybody else doing that. So I was like, all right, I guess it makes sense, you know, for those people that, you know, kind of tossed me the idea of doing it, you know, so I kind of found a niche within a niche.
Yeah. Well, you know, buddy, I've said this enough offline or like unrecorded that I should probably say it online. And I know there's a lot of people out there that are missing old Gearhead 704, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, the thing that I used to think to myself, and I've said to some buddies, is I'm like, you know, I think something special that Matt had going for him that I think a lot of people out there would probably agree with me in what I'm about to say, which is like he probably could have done more with owning the fact that he didn't really know what he was doing. And I know he did do some videos that were like that, right? Like he had that coupe that had the rusted oak cowl on it, and he was going to carve it up, you know, cut it out and put a new one in and whatever. But I think that quite honestly, there's like more people that can relate to someone like that.
Oh,
that doesn't have the background or didn't have the younger years pulling wrenches with somebody of the family or someone they knew, whatever. And so I was always like, man, I couldn't help but think that I think he struggled with the fact that maybe he didn't know, like kind of like you were saying about yourself, Jay, like maybe I'm doing it wrong, or like who the hell am I to be given advice kind of thing. It's like, man, I think he probably could have ran with that and owned it and probably maintained momentum and or increased momentum with the way that his channels and stuff were going, because
he's so authentic too. That's the cool part about what you see on videos. That is that Matt. That is Matt in a nutshell. He's a big goofy individual. Much love for that guy.
Yeah, I was just like, man, how are you doing? Because we still keep in touch, and I get it, right? The kids are getting grown. The one, man, he's like just dunking basketballs left, right, and center. So I'm sure they're working on scholarships and shit. But yeah, to your point, like that whole bloopers element that he'd have in his videos too, like not necessarily on the work that he's doing, but just like from a content creator, like how many times we fuck up with what we're trying to say or what we're trying to articulate, and he'd just bring all that back in. And like, yeah, I think that that's just so like, it's so relatable and not intimidating. And like me and Gary have talked about this before, right? Like, cause we're always like, oh, well, look at what this guy is doing or that guy. And the one thing that we've almost sort of, I guess, seen as like a common denominator is there's almost like a little bit of like this nerdy-esque element of a lot of like the big YouTubers that I think kind of gives them that, it's that sense of authenticity or realness that, you know what I mean? It's not, okay, I'm not intimidated by that guy, which is a really odd thing to say, because you're like, how can you be intimidated by watching a guy on TV? Because like, it's not like they could see you watching them, but I could see how it'd be a thing, like where you're just like, oh, I'm not smart enough to do that. Or maybe the tone of voice or whatever that somebody uses. Like if you have like some military style guy, like drilling how you're supposed to change your oil in your Foxbody, you'd probably be like, fuck that. I'm going down to the Jiffy Lube. I'm not changing my oil, So, no, it's crazy, man. Just how a personality, and that's like building a character, right? Like I think people genuinely warmed up to Gearhead as an individual, and it's just like, here's this big, tall, goofy dude that like, you know what I mean? You would just, if it wasn't for the seat extender, the guy's head would be above he'd have to drive with the top down.
See, those are the people that I appreciate the most. Those are the real guys. You know what I mean? Like he's him, whether he's on video, same way in talking in person. Those are the people that I flock to. You know what I mean? Like just people that are just Mike Murillo, as we were talking before. Perfect example. You know what I mean? Just a normal guy that's just being himself. You know what I mean? Yeah. Shout out to Gearhead for doing that. No, I'm glad to hear everything's going well with him. Thank you for that update, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen him in a while.
And you know what? He had a great mentor, right? The other Matt from
Fox Resto.
Yeah. Like in terms of like doing stuff right and everything else, like you really couldn't ask for anybody better to help you out with your stuff. Which that was actually a fun segment, right? Like you do that, what's wrong with this Foxbody thing that weren't necessarily his. They just get the car in the shop and they'd go over and say, oh, well, that's wrong and that's wrong and that's wrong.
Shit like that is so helpful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's those little things, because there's always, and I can relate to, when I bought my car, I didn't know a damn thing about these cars, and I'll use Brutal as an example, because Brutal's, channel at the time was doing exactly what I was not planning on doing, but what I ended up getting into, just the basics, the tune-ups, the little stuff, the, base idle resets and things of that nature, just to dial it in. And it was cool that, and Brutal is one of the guys that I watched the hell out of because of the timing of things. You know what I mean? As his channel was so young, he was doing basic stuff. As me, my ownership was so young, and that's exactly what I was doing. And it's cool to see that some of the basic stuff still gets put out there. Now, as my car is advanced, I'm glad that I've got a couple of guys like you that are doing those cooler things too, so that, now that my car is advanced to another level, I may need more support than just the base idle resets that I used to need. You know what I mean? So it's cool to see how it's progressed with everybody. But that was cool about Matt, that he was kind of at least keeping that, because Brutal, he does, I don't believe he does any of those style videos anymore. Now they're always there for people to reference, but never any of the new videos. And Matt was still kind of keeping that sort of new. And that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But wrenching on cars for me, I don't put my face in the videos. There's enough on face, videos, or people on the videos. I'm good. I'm more behind the scenes kind of guy,
It is a weird thing though. Like I guess kind of building off what Chris was saying there, like, when people, whatever walk of life it is that they come from, they bring all those experiences with them. And then, they watch whoever it is, Chris or me or Brutal or Caleb or Gearhead or whoever, or something of yours, Jay, you know what I mean? And it's like, I guess whether you like it or not, opinions form. And I'm not saying this like from a good standpoint or a bad standpoint. It's just the reality of it. People are they're going to see something even in the background of your video and be like, or, oh, cool. Like, I like this guy more, or I like him less, or whatever it is. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's weird because I've met like so many people now through this little adventure that I've been on. And, you get people go like, hey, like you are exactly how you are in your video, and I'm going like, well, what would have given you the impression that I wouldn't have been? You know what I mean? But it's this whole like what you, I guess, assume or see or think while you watch.
Now here,
It's
I
really
might be able
weird.
to shed a little light on that for you, right? And maybe the reason why people think that is because, for myself, like I've learned a lot about you listening to some of the podcasts, right? Both
Yep.
in serious conversations, as the most recent one, and circling even to the conversation about crackheads.
Right.
Now, you have built yourself a character, Gary. You are a character, my friend. And when I'm laughing, I walk on stilts, I'm a commercial carpenter and I walk on stilts. So I'm standing, 9'6" is the top of my head. And I'm working by myself. I've got my earbuds in, but people can't always see them. And I'm laughing hysterically by myself. People have no idea why. It's like, if you only knew the conversations that I'm listening to right now, but you've built yourself, sort of, as being, just an extremely funny, humorous character, you know what I mean? So and I think that's the thing that people don't get enough of these days. So when they meet you in person, it's like, wait a minute, holy shit, you actually are the same charismatic dude. That's as humorous. That's just you. You know what I mean? And I think that just comes off as a little, oh shit, that's awesome,
Yeah. I know it's always funny for me because, well, I mean, I can say like hand on heart, like even when I edit something, I'm always like, man, like I sound like such a fucking dipshit with whatever it is that I'm saying or trying to portray or whatever it is. Cause I've still to this day not found a way to be like exactly how I am, say, even right now in, deep conversation with two buddies, right? I've not found a way to like, at least in my opinion, and maybe I'm my own worst enemy, but I've not found a way to like overcome that. But then when somebody says, hey, you're just like you are in your videos, I'm like, oh, thank Christ. Cause I feel like such a fucking dipshit. Right. But this kind of goes back to like, it was sort of how Chris and I even started this whole pod thing, right? It was like, well, we're not the cleanest languaged individuals that we portray ourselves to be on YouTube. So like, why don't we do something that we air quote don't give a shit about and just throw it out to the masses and see if people enjoy it. But the other side of it is like long form conversations always give you the ability to, I think, better understand how a person thinks and maybe
100%.
get a more well-rounded idea of who they are and how they think and stuff like that. But then the wild world of the internet, it's like, well, maybe no one listens to the pod and all they see is your post, and maybe you got a couple weeks where you're just posting like dipshit funny stuff and they just think you're, I don't know, a class clown or whatever, right? And don't know that there's more beneath the surface. I don't know. It's weird to try to like understand that whole dynamic, but I don't know. I mean, over the years, all three of us, there's enough shit out there on the interweb that you could fill an encyclopedia library with like what we said, how we think, which kind of scares me actually a little bit. None of us better ever run for political office. But anyway, yeah, I guess like back to
if you did run for political office, that crackhead conversation would absolutely come up from your opponent. No doubt. No doubt.
I think you need to actually like come up with some crackhead t-shirt concept because that whole thing, like, that's like viral in the sense of casual. Like you could just crackhead with a K or something.
That was
That's what the K stands for, crack. Yeah.
I feel like this podcast, I feel like, is a good way, for the way that we all kind of have to be sort of different people, like dual personalities, right? Like, when I go to work, I have to be professional. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But when you sit around in the garage, sort of like, you know, we'll call it sitting in the garage right now, you can free up your language a little bit. You can talk a little bit more freely. You know what I mean? That's kind of what I think is, you know, what I see as the difference between the videos that you guys put up on YouTube. You've got to be professional. You know what I mean? You got to be a little bit more professional for the people that may watch that. Whereas here, you know, it's a little bit different. You can talk a little bit more freely and, you know, kind of allow the people that watch those videos, you know, to come in here and know you a little bit better. You know what I mean? I think it's fantastic because you can't, you know, for so many different reasons, you can't just go on a YouTube video and, you know, and expect to, you know, gain momentum and gain popularity and just dropping F-bombs and talking about crackheads or whatever the conversation may be. You know what I mean? It's gotta be, you know, sort of professionally cared for, you know, in those videos. But I love the fact that, you know, you guys can get on here and talk shit. You know what I mean? The way you guys do and, you know, and see a different side of you guys. I think it's awesome.
Well, okay, Jay, I'm actually glad you brought this up. I'm sure Chris is thinking this too. So I'll lean in on this one. So he and I had some messages going back and forth last week or maybe the week before where this has popped up for both of us as of late. And it's actually kind of led me down a little bit of a reflective path where each of us have had, like, you know, for what it's worth, like random individuals kind of mention in a roundabout way that it's our language that actually steers them away from us. And now I know there's a lot of different ways that you can come at this conversation, but I guess I don't even know if Chris and I solved the problem, if you will, but I mean, let's just lay the foundation out here and say that, you know, if we got one end of the spectrum, which is, you know, you don't say shit with a mouth full of it. And then you got the other end of the spectrum where even folks like myself that like to curse look at those people and go like, okay, that's a little much. You know what I mean? Like, just fucking, like, whoa, you know, like it's not even making sense what you're saying anymore. And maybe I float back and forth between those two extremes every now and again. But I think those that know me or have, I guess, given me enough of an opportunity to hear the way that I think and probably try to figure out the way I'm wired, know that, like, if I'm going to throw an F-bomb into something, like, it's to add character to what I'm already saying. You know what I mean? It's not just to say it. And then you throw the aspect, like you're saying, Jay, where it's garage talk, right? All the women and children are out of the way and, you know, we're just having drinks and chopping it up, right? But I will say, dude, it actually has made me more aware of it because I'm like, yeah, you know what? When I am operating on that kind of one end of the little bit too much spectrum, I'm like, yeah, I probably could dial it down a little bit. But sadly, you know, for those on the other end of the spectrum again, that wouldn't say shit with a mouth full of it, it kind of breaks my heart a little bit that, you know, just because they hear one or two quick little swear words say at the start of a pod, they're like, oh, I'm out. And it's like, well, you know, if you heard us out, I think you would understand that, like, we're not saying this to be malicious and we're not saying it just to say it. It's to add character and context and it adds to the story kind of thing. But it does break my heart a little bit that, I guess, to know that, yeah, there are people out there that just can't go there. Like, you know, for whatever reason.
It's funny that I think we just sort of had like that whole rule of three where it was like, you had heard something about it, then I heard something about it. Hell, even somebody posted on Tom's link to my podcast that just said like too much swearing or something was the one comment. Yep. And, you know, I'm almost second guessing myself. And then I listened to the 5-0 Asylum podcast that had Jen and some other girl on there. I was sort of like dozing in and out on the plane when I was listening to it. But I was awake for the portion where she was like, I think she writes books or something, or I don't know, but she curses a lot. And someone had made a reference like, oh, you swore 259 times in whatever the hell they were referencing. And I'm like, all right, this is my type of gal. And it's like, so if she's getting away with it, like it was the other side of the spectrum, like you were saying, which to me was sort of like validating. And it's like, you know, and I think it's even worse for women. Like if you hear like a woman swearing constantly, like that's, I don't know what you want to call it, maybe a little bit intimidating to a certain extent, because it's just not something you hear ever so frequently. But like garage talk is. So you know what? I'm not changing for anybody. Fuck that.
I gotta agree with Chris wholeheartedly. I mean, and to your point though, Gary, like there's on one side of the spectrum, maybe there is that extreme if you're using fuckity fuck, you know what I mean? Now, fuck can be used as a noun, a verb, an adjective, yada yada. But I mean, if you're using it every third word, all right, you know, I don't know very many people that do that, no matter where they are, you know. But if you know, so if in this conversation, whatever conversations you guys have, you know, in the past or going forward, and the word fuck comes out occasionally, and somebody doesn't like that, the way I look at it is being in a garage drinking beers with guys talking shit about cars isn't for everybody.
True.
Just because you own one doesn't mean that you necessarily fit into that bill, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? To each their own, you know. So
you guys have both seen Major League, right? With Charlie Sheen.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
actually, yeah, just watched it the other night again. Yeah.
Because like that starts off with just a bunch of F-bombs. And I remember like my mom and some of her friends bringing me to the movie theater when that movie came out, and like smuggled me or whatever, like parental whatever. It was probably rated R. It had to have been. So whatever, I'm in the movie theater and it's just like fuck. They're like, oh, we should maybe not watch this or bring him or get him out of here. And I'm like, man, I want to see it. But yeah, no, it's, I don't know. I think you're either a fuck person or you're not.
Well, here's another little thing on this. And I know I mentioned this to Chris in my long-winded ramble when we were going back and forth on it, but so as much as if you've listened to us long enough, you know me to be a fuck type of guy. I'm also the person that if I'm walking through the mall, even if I'm not with my kids and or my wife, and you know, there's a group of kind of hooligans or whatever you want to classify them as, and they're, you know, like speaking at an octave that's probably a little bit beyond conversational, and it's the whole fuckity fuck. I'm like, boys, you know what I mean? Like, you're out in public, like have some more decorum about you. So, and some people may find that surprising if they've listened to me long enough, because I do like letting it eat. But I don't know. It like I say, it has made me more aware of it. And I almost, well, I kind of appreciate that it's popped up a little bit, because I'm like, well, like I say, it does break my heart a little bit. I think there are people out there that just because they're the type that wouldn't say shit with a mouth full of it, they hear one curse and it's like, ooh, off. You're like, huh, I don't know. Maybe you're missing out on some neat shit in life, or whatever you want to call it, you know?
What's funny about that is, you know, I think people, you know, because if I was doing the same thing, and I don't have kids or anything like that, but if I was walking through a mall and I saw, you know, a bunch of kids that were just getting out of line, you know, like teenagers or whatever, and there's little kids, hey, fellas, come on now, you know, just tone it down. I think people that frequently use the word fuck are going to be more likely to do shit like that than not. I mean, maybe that's just my hunch on it, but
fuck's a choice, man. So, you know, it's, you know,
but I think we all know when to use it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't go to like your fucking Applebee's. Yeah, I got a fucking table for 7 motherfuckers. You know what I mean? Like, hey, whoa. You know what I mean?
Fucking
like,
war Admiral 2 again.
Yeah. There's a time and a place for all that shit, you know, and if on a podcast, you know, and again, you can call this garage talk. This is the closest thing you get to garage talk, you know, with guys that are in different places, you know, and if you can't talk crackheads and use the word fuck occasionally and somebody's upset by that, And again, it's sad to say, but this, these type of places just might not be for them, which is okay. There's probably other podcasts that maybe are a little cleaner that might be better suited for them. But I don't think that you guys should even think about it. And I'm not going to use the word don't change what you do, because I know you're not going to, but I wouldn't even put too much thought into it. You know what I mean? Because again, you're being you. And if you use the word fuck like I use the word fuck, we're just being ourselves. And there's
right.
I don't feel like you're gonna you lose that fucking authenticity. You know what I mean? If you clean up your shit, you know what I mean? So it's just one of those.
The more I think about it, the more I kind of stumble and humble. You're kind of like, oh shit, I don't know what to say here. But Jay, like we were saying earlier about how the older we've become, we feel sorry for some of these folks that live a miserable life and they feel like they got to take it out on others. I kind of, in a roundabout way, feel the same way about this. I'm kind of like, well, I feel sorry for you that, you're probably missing out on a lot, because I mean, I know I can say this for all three of us and any of my buddies that I know that, let the language eat whenever they feel the need to. It's like, none of us got bad hearts. Like, we're not. I mean, we'll be the first ones to give you our shirts, our pants, our fucking hats, whatever you need, and you're, just because you heard a curse, you're going to miss out on that. I'm kind of like, oh, I feel for you,
As you're saying this, though, I don't think the language is the problem. Like, how do I say this? It's almost like the person that's offended by it is just using that as the easy out. Like, it's like they already weren't going to listen to us, or like maybe they would have given us like a little bit more time, but like, it's like they're trying to find something anyways, and that's just the easy thing. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, they have body kits in their coupes. Right? I mean, that's an easy fuck them. They got body kits on those cars.
Right. I'll still not understand why people hate on that so much. I don't fucking whatever.
And you know what? I gotta say, I think people are getting better, and we can circle that one. But yeah, no, I think it's people are just looking for something. It's sort of like on Instagram when people post pictures, and then it's just sort of like there's always that guy that's like, oh, well, that's wrong, or why'd you do that, or whatever. And it's just like, language is just the easy way out of just like, I didn't like you anyways, but now like, here's my reason. Like, I didn't like how you look. I don't like how you tuck your ear in your hat. Like, man, you get the stupidest fucking remarks sometimes. There's just like, whatever. You want to use language, or you want to use how I wear my hat, or because my pants sag off my ass because I've lost fucking weight because I had chemo, go fuck yourself. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care. So, yeah. I think it's not the language. It was already predetermined for the majority. Like, the other little bit that it actually offends are going to be those that, have strong faith and have strong values and whatever that it is, and that's fine. That's the way that they want to live. And it's like, okay, parental advisory, explicit lyrics. I didn't sign up for that. My kids don't watch rated R movies, blah, 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 earmuffs, and that's fine. But, dude, I think anybody else who says it, if it wasn't that, there was something else that they were going to say.
I mean, there could be some truth to that. You know what I mean? For even, if what he's saying is true, if what they're avoiding is seeing those things on video, and they want to just come and get a visual or just an audio, and now they hear the word fuck and they're like, oh, I gotta go. I can't take this anymore. I mean, he could be right, I suppose, but it's one of those things to where, like, I don't ever expect anybody to drop F-bombs on the regular, but even the people that I know that just don't curse, but they understand that people do. They're not offended by it. They just don't do it. You know what I mean?
When I hear people curse, I'm just like, I'm down with that dude or that gal. Like, they're real. They're not. And that's sort of that's the other side of the sword. It's like, you want to be able to walk up to us and say, oh, you are just how you are, when I see you on the video or the podcast versus when I see you in person. So it's like, well, why am I going to hold back now all of a sudden and change the way that I'm going to be? And then you're going to judge me when you hear me, you know what I mean, drop my first F-bomb in public. Like, at least this way you already know what you signed up for.
You know, hey, Gary, I'm gonna echo one more time what Chris said earlier. Fuck them.
Yeah. Okay, boys.
Well, now mind you, and I'm sure I could speak for Chris on this. That fuck them was with love. It was with love. I said that
Peace
with love.
Yeah,
fuck them with love. You know what I mean? That's you know, but it's some people are too easily offended. You know what I mean? Even if it's by just one simple word, whether it's used as a positive, a negative, or completely indifferent. It's just a word. You know what I mean?
Well, you know what's crazy is, like, if we were in Australia, there is another word that is used all the time. And, like, I'm not going to use it here, and I'm not even going to say it because I'll lose any female listener. She's going to get on her husband who might.
Trust me, that's one of those, if you know, you know. And you probably don't even need to say another word about me and Gary know what word you're talking about.
Yeah, but like in Australia, it's used right, left, and center.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, amongst friends. Like
yeah.
you're a boom, you're a boom, everybody's a boom.
Yeah, see you next Tuesday, you know, like whatever.
Yeah, that is not a good word. Not a good word to use in the presence of women.
No, that won't get you very far.
Nope. Smart. Even a foul-mouthed individual like myself knows that shit. And that's one of those where, because, you know, like I can't be flailing off at the hinges, you know, so I just don't use the word at all, just to be on the safe side. You know what I mean?
Right.
I have found there to be no versatility to that word. You know what I mean? So it doesn't suit me like the word fuck. Fuck is very versatile. The other one, not so much. So
yeah, a little sharper.
100%.
Yeah. So I can't do this, boys, but I was going to try to share my screen and show you a picture. So I'm going to have to do this old school, but this kind of builds off of what I was saying with regards to, I guess, people just kind of missing the context just because they see a thing a certain way or they feel a certain way about something, like boom, they're out, or boom, they've already made their mind up without any more context. Okay. So at Pitts, Josh Kennedy is staying at the convention center and goes out for a little midnight stroll. And Chris, myself, John Brooks, actually, Jay, I don't know, did you leave your car there overnight when it pissed rain?
Yeah.
Okay. So he went and did a little walkabout for the boys, right?
I did one too for John. Went and did a little scope into the scenes. I remember Josh did the same thing. That was awesome.
Right. So Josh sends me a picture and he says, hey, it looks like the 4 of your bozo cars are still sitting there. All should be well. And it was sent late at night or whatever. And anyway, it's turned out to be a pretty cool picture. Ground's wet, street lights are on them, whatever. So I make this reel and did not plan it this way, but I used the still photo and kind of added a bit of a sweeping effect to it. And what's funny is so while that's going on, the writing on the screen was something like, you know, being 3 beers deep and somebody says the Foxbodies aren't the best Mustang ever. And then it cuts to Macho Man Randy Savage going ape shit on somebody, right? Well, anyway, the way that the camera pans, again, like I say, I didn't plan this, but the way it pans and where it starts and stops, all you see is Chris's silver car from like halfway down the quarter window forward. Okay. And so I'm doing this old school way, but this is all you see. Okay. This comment comes through the other day and it's like, oh my God, if I see another coupe with a body kit on it, I'm going to blow my brains out. But that silver hatch looks sick. I'm like, holy fuck. I'm like so full of comebacks. I don't even know where to start. Like, this is amazing. Wow. Because to your point, Jay, about like, you know, who are these people that can't kind of see outside the box? This asshole that commented is one of them, and he's looking at a coupe with the wrong context, thinking it's a fucking hatch.
See, this is where you got to be learn to be smart ass mixed with humorous, right? In that comment, you respond, oh, it's one of the baddest GTs I've ever seen, or baddest hatches I've ever seen. Play into it. You know what I mean? It's just like, all right, if you don't like it, play right into it. You know, it's just I do that sometimes if I get those troll comments or something like that, or in this case, just happens to be a wrong comment sort of deal. Yeah, have fun with it. You know what I mean? I don't get mad about it. I just I'm like that cat that just bats around the mouse. Like, I know I can kill this mouse anytime. I just want to bat it around a little bit and have fun with it. You know, that's exactly what I would do. But I didn't know you had a hatch, Chris.
Oh, dude, this is so awesome. Cause I'm like, this to me is all the proof I've ever needed that the man upstairs has a fucking sense of humor. Cause I'm like, this is a home run right here. That's awesome. This couldn't have been any better.
So you're waiting for the reply?
To be honest with you, I might have just like pissed myself to no end. I might not have even responded. I was just like, oh my God, I can't wait to tell my buddies this.
I almost want to find that post and just follow along.
Yeah. BJ Adams didn't know what to say.
Yeah.
That is true.
Oh no, that one was amazing. Cause yeah, for all the shit that people talk about it, it's just like, wow, there you go right there. You're one of these purists, or I don't know, whatever you want to call yourself, which hell, I like to term myself as a purist, but I don't know. Whatever. I don't need to go into the whole story as to how a body kit ended up on my car again, but it's now a part of it, and it's a part of me, and it's a thing. I love it. I think it looks great. And and then you get this type of stuff going on, and it's like, yeah, you're so pure that you don't even know what you're looking at. And you don't even know what you like or don't like.
Why do you guys think so many people have issues with body kits on coupes?
Still a bit of a mystery.
That's one thing I've always been curious about.
Yeah, it's still a bit of a mystery to me, because I mean, these same guys don't have any problems with the handful of Celine's out there that got body kits on them, like coupes. I get, you know what I mean? That's fine, because I guess Steve did it. I don't know, but yeah, some random asshole like me or Chris or a handful of other people do it, and it's like, whoa, you're right, you're doing Hail Marys and stuff because we just whatever summon the devil. It's crazy.
Those are the type of people I just won't. I don't understand. Like, that will comment or criticize anybody that does anything a little bit different, and it's like I want to ask those people. You know, like, do you like, however their car is built or styled or designed or whatever, like, do you want to go to a car show and just see 100 of your cars, like, built exactly how you want it? I think I love my car, love the way I put together. But if I go to a car show and they all look like mine, that's fucking stupid. I don't want to go to a car show where they're all like mine. What the fuck fun is that? I want there to be people doing different shit. You know what I mean? Even if it's putting a body kit on a coupe. Why would you want to keep a coupe just a coupe if you have the ability to make it different and it's something you like? I've never understood that about how people critique what the hell people do to their cars. Like, people talk shit about my hood. Now I understand. I'm not even in love with my hood, right? I bought it, I think, like the first year I had a car, just because it was already black and it matched, and it kind of just, my car grew with the Real Foxbody Addicts, and people just, it's kind of just the look of the car now. You know what I mean? But people talk shit about the hood all the time. It's like, well, I'll go right online right now and I'll go purchase another hood just because you don't like mine. I'll swap it immediately. I'm so sorry. Like, what the fuck do these people expect? You know what I mean? Like, if you don't like my hood, you just keep scrolling till you find the fucking hood you like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've never understood why people just feel so compelled to say things out the side of their mouth, you know, again, whether it be about my hood or your guys' body kits, you know what I mean? It's,
you know, Jay, like, it's kind of weird, because I've often, like, I would like to actually sit down with someone that is, you know, like, just a body kit on a coupe hater and be like, I've got so many questions for you. Like, are you okay with an LX hatch getting a body kit on it? You know, and then also, what are your thoughts on a vert? Because, you know, with the top up, it's kind of a coupe, and they came in GT format. They also came in LX, non-GT, non-body kit format. You know, like, there's just so many things. And I guess, I don't know, in my imagination, I'd almost think you could get them to a point where they'd be like, well, yeah, you know what? You got a point. Because I mean, I really truly think we have a point here, but I don't know. It's a really weird phenomenon for me.
Yeah, I just, like I said, maybe I'm just a bit more mature than the next guy, which I would never think that I'd be sitting here calling myself more mature than the next guy. But every time I see situations, because I'm still immature at heart, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when I see shit like this, it reminds me, like, damn, I'm really growing the hell up or something here. What's going on? You know, why am I mature enough to just scroll past something I don't like, whereas somebody else, you know, literally cannot fucking control themselves, and their thumbs are just fucking shaking as they're getting their keyboard out. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and I'm sure you guys, I mean, you guys have gotten, you know, so many, you know, comments and things on your videos and all that. And Chris, as long as you've been doing this, I'm sure you've probably seen it and heard it all. I get a few comments on the videos that, you know, a little shit I put up, and it's just like, and now these are sometimes on cars that aren't mine, you know, because I don't just post mine, you know what I mean? I try and post as little as possible, but, you know, it's on other people's cars, you know what I mean? It's just like, I've just never understood how people are always so critical about shit.
Yeah, it is weird. And, you know, Jay, going back to your point about, like, I mean, do these people want a world where everything looks like their car? Because that'd be a pretty boring world when you think about it. You know, I know there's, you really truly do see it all. Like, oh, you know, love everything but hate the wheels. Like, I can't understand the psychology of someone that would take their time out of their day to even say that. It's kind of like, what's the point of saying that? I don't even understand that, you know?
It's just
love everything. Yeah. Love everything but the seat belts. Oh, great. Like, fuck, you know what I mean? Like, thanks for the update. I don't know what else to say to you, you know?
See, that's the one thing you got to change. If they say that, oh, I'm ordering new seatbelts right now. Because that's what I say about people with my hood. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, hey, man, thanks for, you know, stopping your day and chiming in to let me know that you are not satisfied with my hood. I appreciate that. Thank you. Like, I just kill them with kindness, because there was a point where I'd get pissed about it. Who the hell are you to critique my car is what I'm thinking in my head. But the last thing I want to do is type what I'm thinking in my head in a response to that shit, because now I'm just buying into their bullshit. So now I just hit them with that reverse psychology type shit. Oh, thanks for pointing out that you hate my hood, man. I'm going to go on such and such website and go purchase another one right now. Thanks, man, for letting me know that my car could be so much better in your opinion if I put a different hood on. You know, it's one of those things that, you know, I learn a lot about people by doing this stuff, though. You know what I mean? That is one thing I will say is there's a lot of fucking strange people in this world, but those people help the world go round. You know what I mean?
They do, man.
Hey, if your car was at a car show and the hood was up, nobody'd even know what type of hood's on your car.
True story. True story.
Yeah.
You know what I can say now, though, to everybody? My hood's cool because the cutouts in it now, you can see my fucking supercharger when the hood's closed. Piss off, asshole. You know what I mean? It's a fucking beauty window, you prick. There you go. But hey, you know what I mean? Everybody's got their own opinion to it, you know? So.
No, I would like to hear someone, you know, with like a little bit of a psychological background explain it to me, because it truly is a mystery to me. I really don't understand it.
That would be a fucking interesting podcast right there. If you can get somebody with a PhD on here to explain trollism. Yeah. I just made that shit up, by the way. But I mean, to explain why the fuck people do what they do online, that you'll have me listening. I'll tell you that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you'd be wasting your breath with the actual individual that doesn't like a body kit on a coupe, because they're just going to say, because you're not supposed to, or like something stupid. You know what I mean? It's going to be not justified in any way, shape, or form. Like the only real justification that someone could argue that's valid is just to say, if it's a low mile original car, why would you go and do mods to it? I understand and can appreciate that perspective, but like some guys don't. Let's just say they don't have a personality, and if you don't have a personality, then you have nothing to reflect that into your vehicle.
to personalize it. Yeah.
So anybody that thinks that a coupe or a body kit on a coupe probably fucking sucks in the sack, and I feel sorry for the wife.
Missionary.
An idea just popped into my head, right? It's because Chris is right. You're probably not going to be able to find a troll that you're going to be able to get on a podcast or have a conversation with that's going to be able to provide you with anything beyond 35 seconds.
Right.
He's probably right. I wonder if you get yourself like a Castle Customs hotline, right? You get yourself another little phone, you go live, right? And you post that phone number. If you got something to say about my body kit, I'm going to be live between this time. Call me on the hotline. And you could literally be live and put them on the speakerphone or whatever and say, all right, pal, let it out, buddy. What do you got to say? Come on, give me every body kit joke you got. You know what I mean? Because you never know. You might, because even if they're 35 seconds, you'll get maybe multiples. You know what I mean? You just pick up the hotline and just playing into the shit. You know what I mean? It's just like, all right, trolls, I'll give you a platform and it's pure entertainment. You know what I mean?
That would be some pretty funny content for sure.
Again,
if you give people freedom just to call in out of nowhere, especially on a troll topic, you might get a hand. 50% of the trolls are going to be licking their chops.
Totally.
So I genuinely feel like the hotline wouldn't do well, because sort of going back to the point where it was like, you know, with all the swearing, it's almost like it's predetermined. It's the easy way out of saying, oh, I don't like whatever you or your opinion or whatever it is. I think similarly, it's the easy thing to post and comment that will stir the pot. So it's not necessarily how that person is going to feel or what they would ever say in person, but they're like, oh, let me just throw this comment out because I know it's going to stir the pot and it's going to get other people riled up and caught in the mix. I bet you it's at least 50% is just literally pot stirrers versus actual, that's their opinion.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. You'd be able to shake it up a little bit and see what falls out, though.
Well, man, I did it with the post with the stock of Earth the other day. I'm just like, oh, what oil are people using these days for their oil change? And like, I just did it because I knew it would just, like, I think there was like 100 comments within the first day, because it's just like how easy it is to like trap people with like basic shit. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's almost sad. It's like, man, I don't want to play into this, but it's such a quick win. Like, I could post a picture of my own car and just say, man, look at how ugly this coupe is with a body kit on it. In fact, I'm going to do it. I'll do it before this pod comes out, and we'll see.
I should do the same thing with my hood. I'll make a post and say about.
They won't even know it's your car. Like, all the comments they're not even going to know it's your car.
Because there's a lot of people, like, especially on like the Instagram, that they don't know that car is mine.
Yeah.
Right.
And a lot of it's because usually my face is never, in videos and stuff like that often, to where they're not be able to associate. You know what I mean?
And now that I'm saying this, I've seen a lot of whatever the clickbaity posts that's like, oh my God, I'm outraged. I got this body shop quote for whatever, and this is all the work. Like, it's all these posts that are literally starting out that are like, it's bad, but it's not even a bad scenario. But it's just the language like grabs your attention, and it's just like all the warriors want to get in on it. And then the warrior pays because you get the engagement.
Yeah, the clickbait stuff is, I've fallen victim to the clickbait shit. I see a thumbnail and I'm like, oh, it's going to be a good one. You get into the video and it's like, that was clickbait. Got me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But hey, it's part of it though, I guess. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
Yeah, it kind of is. Yeah, I don't know. These are conversations that I don't know that you could ever really truly solve them. I don't think that you'd even ever understand if you did hear one of these people out where they're coming from. Like, it just doesn't make sense. It's Twilight Zone shit. But like you say, makes the world interesting, right?
It sure does. There's it's funny that there's times where, and my cousin and I have joked about it, where it's like, we've kicked out all the spammers and all the trolls and all that shit by now. And, it's just like, man, I don't want to call it boring, but it was a little bit more spicy when you got, some shit going on in the group. And it's just like, man, let's get some of those guys back out again. Like
you gotta start part 2, buddy. Do the not the real Foxbody Addicts. And let all spam
there. It's just called Foxbody Addicts. You want to go see that? You go jump in there. Now, to the credit of them, I think it's a lot of. I think the groups are getting better at cleaning shit up. They're not all perfect, but they're getting better. I would like to think. You know what I mean? Maybe I'm not on there often enough to see everything, but I feel like they're getting better. I feel like people are just understanding that it's just not like Foxbody Mafia. Was like a fucking haven for that type of shit at one point. You could never post anything safely without getting 50 million trolls coming at you at once. But I feel like it's getting a little bit better. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm hopeful. I don't know. But
yeah.
But I mean, it makes the world go round. You know what I mean? It keeps things interesting. You know what I mean? Like the biggest Foxbody troll with our 92 promotional Cobra vert. I mean, come on, that motherfucker is infamous because of that shit. You know what I mean? And that's troll level 47. People like him create conversations. You know what I mean? Hey, by the way, you guys want to get him on the podcast. You want to talk about if you guys could ever get that old man on the podcast, boy, doesn't he live in Texas, by the way? Or Georgia?
I'm not sure. No, he's the Georgia Snake.
That's right. Yeah, Georgia Snake. But if you guys could ever get that man to conversate and hear his story.
I want to say was it Lance maybe had his number? Like someone talked about this going on at some point in time. It's been so many years since I read through that it's like a 30-page forum post,
I've heard somebody was going to get him on there, and I don't remember who. If it was going to be somebody, Lance would probably be the one I think could do it. Rope him into something like that and make him feel safe. You know what I mean? But that's the king of trolls right there, man. You want to talk about, now see that to me is a different kind of troll than the trolls we've been talking about, the shit starters. He's just a guy that's he's I think the true definition of troll, but.
See, I've always taken it the other way, though, Jay. I've always taken it that like this fella truly believes he has a 92 Cobra vert.
There's a part of me that I was agreeing with you there, but there's so many people that have pointed out, basic imperfections in that man's story that would make a guy with some common sense sit there and say, all right, maybe I was sold this story, right? Maybe I have believed this for so long. But as more people are pointing out things to me, maybe I don't have what I thought I had. Would be the sensible thing. Like you look at the guys, and I've never held one of them, SVT, the Cobra certificates, but you can look at the damn thing and realize that thing looks like it's been altered to some capacity.
It's photoshopped for sure.
You know what I mean? Now I ran the VIN, and it's funny because I ran the VIN on that. I did a Carfax on that because he actually posted the VIN.
Right.
You don't do that, man. So it was a salvage title LX. I mean, I still have the damn thing saved in my phone. And it's just like, you can believe it in your heart of hearts all you want. But when people bring, factual evidence to you, you're not still in that, I think this is a Cobra. You're at the point now where you're either trolling or you've just sold that story for so long, you're just going to keep on with it. It's only going to be one of those two, you know what I mean? Or the guy is deranged and is fit for a straitjacket and hadn't just sized up it yet. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. Yeah.
Could be. I don't know. But it's still fun though. I mean, because the guy he's a fucking celebrity in this little world of ours for the shit he's done. You know what I mean? Now, what do you think that car would be worth? We go this a whole nother. I don't want to go down the rabbit hole, but it's just out of this question.
Well, hey, it's got a fresh paint job now.
With the infamy of that car and the stories that have been told and a popularity, do you think it would even affect a value of that car, or is it just a triple black vert?
Oh, yeah. I think I'd lean more towards, yeah, it's just a triple black vert with a funny story, you know?
Like, I feel like there would actually, it would go to the other side of things where it's almost like you get your whistling diesel that would buy that car and just crush it, or like destroy it and everything that it stood for, just to like end the whole story and everything else about it.
I never thought I would ever say this. That's a good idea.
Like, in my mind, there's a little bit of that. Like, if I had my hands on it, I would just do everything to just like put an end to it once and for all. Sacrificial convertible.
Yeah, Whistling Diesel having that would be kind of fun to watch. I'm not going to lie. Normally, I would never wish Whistling Diesel to own a Foxbody. Seeing what he did to the Lambo or Ferrari, whatever car that was, and it's like, all right, yeah, that wouldn't be a bad way for it to go. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Be entertaining.
Yeah, I haven't thought of that story in a long time. Shit. It is, like you say, though, it's weird that how, you know, there were some like grade A pissed off people about this, like they just weren't having it, but then there was like folks that are just legitimately bringing forth common sense information backed up by, you know, legitimate evidence, and Buddy is still coming back for more. It's like, dude, delete your account, like enough. He's
one of the people I actually had. So I've had conversations with this man before, and I've actually had to. I told him, I said, "Hey, man, like when you post your shit and you call it what you call it, if I allow you to be in the group and continue to post your shit, and I stick to my rules of my group, I'll end up throwing everybody out of my group because everybody's going to go on the comment thread and say something." You know what I mean? It's just what it is. So it's like if I'm trying to monitor the members of the group, like this man's going to get all these people in hot water just because they're just going to be commenting on what he's posted, right? So I told him, I said, hey, you know, his name's William. I said, bro, just keep the word Cobra out of your post. I said, nobody ever messes with you if you don't use the word Cobra. I said, but as soon as you add Cobra into that shit, it becomes a trash fest. I said, I just don't want to have that, you know? And long story short, I ended up having to, you know, boot him out of the group. And he messaged me again months later, something saying if he could come back in. I said, brother, as long as you don't call it a Cobra, you're more than welcome, man. I don't want to deal with that drama, you know? So he comes back in the group. He makes a couple posts and didn't call it a Cobra. He was good until he wasn't. Then he called it a Cobra again. And he just couldn't help himself. You know what I mean? And there go the comments. And I don't know if they're still there, if I can look back because he's not in the group anymore, but you can see the differences between when he posted as just his car, his 92. But when he calls it the 92 Cobra, it fucking blows everybody's sensors out the water and it's World War VII. You know what I mean? So it's almost like, and that's why I say, like, I feel like he knew what he was doing with it. He was being a troll on purpose because you can see how different it was when you post it. Even when it's got all the Cobra badging on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You post it as that and you just don't call it a Cobra in the post. Totally different outcome.
You're good. Yeah. Hey, here's a question for you, boys. Do you know what, or maybe asked another way, do you know who was behind the bring back, what was that channel? Bring Back the Foxbody? Hey, Ford, let's bring back the Foxbody Instagram page. Do you know who was behind it? Because that was kind of like the daily post, like it was one of the quickest growing Instagram pages, at least in the Foxbody world, that hell I'd ever seen. And then it was just like all of a sudden it was gone. And I don't know if anyone ever knew who was behind that page. They seemed to have all the right ingredients of how they were doing things. Had edgy posts and like not edgy, but like catchy posts. And then, they just kind of went the way of the dinosaur. I mean, there's a few pages out there like that, that I remember in the early days being around. And then every once in a while they'll cross my mind. I'll go looking for them. They're still there, but they haven't posted in like 3 years or something.
See, that's one thing I've always had a small fear of, is like if, let's just say I decide one day that, obviously the group will always be the group. That will be just one thing that I'll always stay involved with. But let's just say I don't post on Instagram anymore. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Or I don't even post in the Real Foxbody Addicts page. It's like, do I let it sit there and go stagnant? And I've asked myself that several times. It's like, no, I would probably just hand the keys over to somebody else. You know what I mean? And just say, hey, drive the car, man. You see the format that I put together, just keep it going. You know what I mean? Because I don't, when I hear stuff like that, it's like, damn, man, like where'd that page go? It's like, you don't want to see it go away. You know what I mean? Even if I ever got tired of it, I think I would just pass off to one of my buddies that, would be excited to take it over.
Yeah, I know. Cause those ones, well, much like yours, Jay, where, it's kind of a conglomeration of everybody's stuff. I know it's kind of a shame to see these things go away. Right. I don't know.
I mean, I feel like it's just sort of like an evolution. You know what I mean? There's, like guys like me, you know what I mean? Like, obviously you guys have shops, you're doing this for a living. Guys like me, I feel like, we come and go to a certain degree. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not always going to be, doing this stuff. I enjoy the hell out of it. That's why I do it. But at the same time, though, I've also, in my mind, I feel like I built a little bit of a community, or I've helped the community, even just the Real Foxbody Addicts itself. Like, I still want that to go on. Even if I'm not at the helm of the ship, you know what I mean? I still want it to go on. So, I've thought about that stuff, because this isn't something that, I'm going to keep on doing for the rest of my life. I mean, I'm always going to own my car, but I don't know if I'm always going to be that guy that's, posting the stuff online like I do now, I mean, I would like to think that I would keep doing it for a little while, but I also, if somebody else has some higher energy, because you got guys like Third Pedal Foxbody, these guys that are coming in that are fresh minds, they're fresh ideas. You know what I mean? They're good, wholesome people. It's like, sometimes it's okay to pass that baton. And I say that, for guys on, more my shelf of doing social media, you know what I mean? It's sad to see, pages like that start to, go down a little bit, but I've always said to myself, I'll just pass it over, to somebody else that's enthusiastic about it in the community, because it's not really designed for any one person or one particular car. It's just a community,
Yeah. No, I like that answer, buddy. Cause, I know when I think back to, I don't know, let's say 3-4 years ago, right? Like when we were kind of at the peak of all things Foxbody related, right? Peak of pricing, peak of posting, peak of everything. And it kind of hurts my heart a little bit to think that, there's weird little signals and signs that that's kind of slowing down a bit. And so to hear that, you want to keep it alive and you want to pass it along. Cause I don't want to see it die. I don't want to see bring back a Foxbody die. I don't want to see, like there was all those ones like Daily Foxbody or, Mustangs. I don't know. It was like the ones that everyone, when they were getting started, tagged in the hopes that they would repost their picture and help you grow and back and forth, whatever. And I know seeing some of these pages sit stagnant, you're kind of like, oh Christ, is this a sign of the times? I hope not. Or is it just somebody, like you say, reaching the end of their rope, little burnout, little whatever, and they're like, yeah, fuck it, I can only, what am I doing here? Like, you know what I mean?
I feel like sometimes, and I'm starting to see it a little bit with mine too, like I'm a numbers nerd, right? You know what I mean? Like I like to look at the analytics and the insights of all this stuff, to see if what I'm posting is shit that people enjoy. If numbers don't lie, if I'm not getting views, people aren't liking what I'm doing. So I'm going to either switch it up or whatever the case may be. And, I've done okay at getting some views, you know what I mean? I've been pretty proud of some of the, the little shit that I put up that's got some cool views, but I would say over maybe the last year, even the views that I would normally get, I'm not getting.
Right.
I mean, it would be a point where damn near everything I would post would get 6-figure views.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's not the case anymore. You know what I mean? It's gone. And now there's been some changes to, the platforms that have probably, assisted that decline. But I feel like just certain things just start to fizzle out, you know what I mean? A little bit, unless, and I say specific to myself because I'm not posting on Instagram every day or once a week for that matter. You know what I mean? I try and stretch out the content best I can that I get from the shows. You know what I mean? And that's what time you'll see me posting shit of my car is when I got nothing else to post. You know what I mean? And, you know, it's just, I feel like, you know, I don't want to say that, you know, the shit that I do is starting to run its course by any means, but the views are starting to show me that either I've got to change, be more consistent, or wait for the next guy to come up with the better ideas or better ways of doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, but it's one of those things, man. Sometimes it's, unless you're consistent with the stuff, as I'm sure you guys know, I mean, it's, people want freshness. You know what I mean? They want new all the time. You know what I mean? Whether it be fresh faces or fresh thoughts or ideas.
Yeah.
You know, that's just what they're looking for. Like, you know, that's why I didn't even do any of my little bullshit YouTube videos at all last year, because a lot of the algorithms were changing. And I not that I get an immense amount of views now, but I mean, I was getting a decent amount of views for the amount of, you know, subscribers that I have. And that changed, you know, to the point where I posted a video from Foxtoberfest and I didn't even crack 1,000 views. And I was like, well, what the shit? You know, it's like, if I'm not getting the views, you know, like that means people must not be interested in what I'm doing. And if people aren't interested in what I'm doing, even though I enjoy doing it, I'm just not going to do it. You know what I mean? You know, that's why I didn't even put up any videos, you know, on the YouTube at all last year from any of the shows, you know, because sometimes it's, you got to either step back, drop back and punt, you know, type of scenario, or, you know, pass it along.
Regroup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, in the YouTube case, mine was just drop back and punt, you know, let's just see what people think and, you know, and see what happens with it. And again, first set of videos back is the pits videos. And I think I got three videos up.
Yeah.
Still, you know, I think 2 more in the mix and I haven't even fucking started on them. And I'm terrible. So I don't have that.
Yeah. I know it's weird, right? This is another one of those interesting psychological conversations. Because actually, I was thinking about this today. I had somebody send me a post that you know, was completely tweaked and changed in that individual's own creativity, but it was similar to something that I had actually not similar, it was identical to something I had posted like 2 years ago or something, right? And I looked at it and I was like, holy shit, like that's got a ton of views and a ton of likes, like all the metrics were there. And I was like, huh, like I wonder for however many times a guy's posted, like, you know, do you just almost do like a chapter 2? Like, okay, let's go back to the start and we'll post some of this stuff. Maybe now's the time that it lands, right? Like something that face planted then's right now. But then, you know, to your point about the authentic and the, you know, keeping things fresh and whatever, it's like, well, are you kind of just dumbing the internet down by doing that? I guess it's all in what you're going for at the end of the day, right? But yeah, like you say, if you're doing this, like it's almost are for a business, right? It's like, well, you need eyes on you, right? Like that's what's gonna help gather the attention and let people know what you're doing and whatever. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a, and then you have to ask yourself too, are we just cooking this up in our own heads? Like, do we just think we're non-relevant now? Or the shit that we're going to post is going to be non-relevant? Especially when you're coming fresh off a little bit of a browbeating, when, you know, a couple things you post didn't do so good and you're like, oh, right, kind of licking your paws, thinking that your life's over or whatever. It's like, well, that's the thing with social media, right? You're only one post away from stardom, so to speak. You know, the next one's the banger. It's kind of the gold miners mentality, right? Oh, that next fucking lease is going to be the one that we strike her rich on, right?
See, for me, I think it was always, and I don't think it started off this way, but I think it was, I had a lot of fun to see how many followers I could get doing the shit that I'm doing and to see how many views I can get along with it. And it was like, once I get to a certain point, I've like TikTok, I can't stand that fucking app. But when I got to like 22,000 or whatever the fuck it is, I'm like, I'm fucking done. I've done what I needed to do. it was my first way of experimenting on how people reacted to just me posting my car.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
everything else, every other platform has been about me just posting everybody else's. You know, and the few times I did post mine, it did really well. I'm like, oh shit, people like my car that much. But I was always curious. Shout out to Billy Trammell. He's the reason why I even did the damn TikTok in the first place, because that fucker would keep sending me links. And I'm like, Billy, I don't have TikTok. And he'd send me links anyway. And he'd fucking download it. He'd tell me, you know. But it was like once I got, you know, to a certain point, I was just like, okay, I'm good here.
Right.
And I feel like, you know, I enjoy the numbers part of it a lot.
Yeah, me too.
You know what I mean? Like just me doing the shit that I do with my basic old iPhone. What can I accomplish? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How many followers or subs or whatever can I get? And how many eyes can I put on these videos? And I just been having a blast with it. And it turns out, I guess, even the little bullshit that I post, and again, I think it's just sitting on the toilet entertainment.
Yeah.
That's what I post. You know what I mean? When you're sitting on the shitter and you're just scrolling through short little reels, that's where I win your heart.
True. Well, you know what, Jay? It's kind of I would say, like from a psychological perspective, it's kind of like the class clown's fuel. You know what I mean? Like if nobody laughed at the class clown, well, the class clown's kind of out of a job. Correct. And like you're saying about the metrics, I've always tried to talk about the metrics of all this, like, because I know it in my soul, it almost feels like it's kind of a pretentious conversation because it always relates back to like a following or like, you know what I mean? You're gaining something by doing all of this. And I never mean for it to come from that standpoint, but hearing you talk about it this way, it's whatever, kind of brought it back up for me. And I'm like, it's almost like the currency of doing something, right? Like you're going to go fucking rake somebody's leaves and for $5, that's kind of like making the post and getting the likes or the follows or the whatever. It's that exchange of like, if you like what I'm doing here, then pay me for it kind of thing. Right. But yeah, I don't know. I know for me, like I maybe wasn't the best class clown out there, but definitely if you talk to folks that are in my yearbook, they'd tell you that, you know, I enjoyed that shit. And if nobody laughed at me, I wouldn't have done it. Actually, fuck boys, here's me and my stories. This reminds me of one. So we had this.
I'm going to get a beer. Hold on, I'm getting a beer. Here's the story, Gary.
Can you still hear me or are you going too far away? Oh, he's going.
All right, gather around, kids.
Okay. We had this French teacher. Okay. So this speaks to the Canadian heritage, Miss Weinman. And man, actually the word you were talking about earlier, Chris, that defines this woman to a T. Like just a miserable old twat. Anyway, and we, if I remember right, I think we were forced, or, you know, it was part of the passing curriculum. You had to take French up until like grade 8 or something to that effect. And I don't know, I hate being told what to do at the best of times. And French was something that I never, ever really warmed up to. So I was pretty miserable when I went to those classes and all I would do is fuck around. Well, anyway, there was a couple cute chicks in this class too, right? And if you could make them laugh, as we know as dudes, right? You're winning, right?
That's right.
So we're in, we had so this was maybe like grade 7, I guess. So we were still in like, you know, you didn't go class to class. You went to your class and you lived in that desk that you had all year long. And it had underneath, like between your knees and where you'd do your writing, there was the place for all your books and pencils and shit. You'd slide them into your desk, right? Well, we had come out of some like arts and crafts class and I had a big old chunk of poster board and I'm daydreaming during French class. And, you know, I kind of look across the way at this chick and I kind of see her looking at me and I'm like, fuck, it'd be a great time to make her laugh right now. Right. So as Miss Weinman's working her way on the board, I pull out this piece of poster paper and I write on it, Miss Weinman has an 18-inch cock. And so the next time Miss Wyman turns around to write on the board, I kick my chair back, stand up, and just double fist it right up in the air. And this broad that I'm trying to impress, right? She's like mid sip of water, and it's just like water all over the place. The whole class is looking, and I'm kind of like so enamored with the fact that I've made this good looking gal laugh that I'm not even really paying attention to my cue to stuff this thing back in my fucking desk. Miss Weinman turns and sees me holding the sign as I'm looking sideways at the girl. I'm like, oh shit, this is not good, right? Long story short, got suspended over this one. And mom had to come up to the school, and and the principal's office had to explain to her what I'm doing. And my mom's got a pretty good sense of humor. So she was able to maintain like her complexity in the meeting, but we get in the truck and she starts laughing now, right? I'm like, oh fuck. I'm like, am I in trouble, mom? She's like, guy, yes, but like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, Jesus.
See, that's when you know you fucked up really good, when mom has to say, when you say, am I in trouble? And she, yes, but come on. You know what I mean? Like that's when you know you hit the next level. Good for you. That's good shit.
But anyway, in a similar manner, right? It's kind of like that, like, yeah, the laughter's the currency, or the likes and the follows, it's the currency. And when it's not there, you're kind of like, huh, am I out of a job? No more class clowning, or what are we doing here, right? Yeah.
It's one of those things. I mean, for me, I pay attention to those numbers, and I just, it's like if they start falling off, by me posting the same thing, it's just like, oh man, maybe I've, what people thought was cool at one point is no longer cool, so
right.
Switch it up or move on,
Well, like I say, or are we our own worst enemies? Right? Kind of like we are with our cars, right? Oh, nice car. No, wait a minute. It's not. Look at this and look at that and doing all that shit, right? Are we our own worst?
With the videos, though, is the numbers, though, is the analytics is there to kind of change that being our own worst enemies. You know what I mean? Like I could be critical of certain things, but if the numbers are being critical, it's one of those things to where, and I've thought about it too. It's just, again, just keeping things fresh for the community as a whole. You know what I mean? That I try and do. Yeah. So we'll see. I still have fun though. So and it seems like the people that watch still have fun. So we're going to keep on keeping on, but it's one of those things that, to the point of the conversation, I think I would pass it on to somebody to keep that name going rather than just let it go stagnant, for sure. For me personally.
Yeah, it's true, man. I guess like anything, right? Is if you're still having fun, maintain course, do what you're doing. You're obviously on a pretty good path. But the minute you're not, maybe it's time to hang it up. But like I say, there's that other little voice in the back of my head going like, is this just you kind of thinking this shit up and creating your own goofy little reality via excuses? Or you know what I mean? Like you got to consider that. So I ask myself that quite often, right? Yeah. When you're in kind of one of those slumps, or you're going like, oh, is it over? Right? Is nobody laughing anymore? Or have you just been slacking?
It was even like, shit. Two of the videos I posted recently from pits, I think it was, of course, I think one of them was your car and the other one was the blue pace car. And it was like, when I saw the amount of views that come out of those, I was like, oh, damn. You know what I mean? Like, that's not good. And I was starting to almost have a little bit of a panic. You know what I mean? Like, what the hell's going on? Did I maybe pick the wrong times to post them? And it turned out that's probably what it was. So it's like, instead of, it's because I post them at different times, and I feel like that's why some of them do better. So that, after those two, I'm, sometimes they'll do well at 9:30 in the morning. Sometimes they won't, you know what I mean? Sometimes they'll do better at 6 o'clock at night, and, two of the most recent ones that I posted, swinging hard with the hatchbacks, just saying, hatchbacks still a little better, brought up my faith in the shit a little bit, but yeah, I mean, there's little things like that, it's, I'm not going to delete the thing and repost it or anything like that. It's out there. And just to remain authentic with it. I mean, again, maybe it's the time that I posted it, but hell, like I said, I still have fun, man. It's, those times where I was on the shitter and I see other people's videos that are, just a cool car. I enjoyed it. You know what I mean? So it's just like, I enjoy making them too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know you can really mind fuck yourself into a whole bunch of, I remember thinking, and I actually still kind of do with YouTube videos. I take into consideration the time of day those launch. Posts and stuff and social media, not so much anymore. But because I remember thinking about it, like, okay, let's take Screen Puff Joe out in Hawaii. That guy literally lives in the fucking past by about 5 or 6 hours than most of us. Like, how much of a brain fart is it for him to post anything realizing that? Like, you know what I mean? He's trying to exist, because how many people in Hawaii are going to see and or like his posts? Like, his audience is here on the normal time zones, not his time zone, right? So I was just kind of like, yeah, you know what? I think it's just going to be whatever it's going to be. But to your point, Jay, I know I used to think the same way. It's like, if this thing's getting seen like instantly real hard, this is going to then therefore move it down the road that much quicker and give it more momentum, which I'm sure is true. But man, it's a lot of thinking, you know what I mean? And I don't know. I think it more boils down to the whole, like, fresh is good, authentic is key, right? Is this real? Is it manufactured? Is it, I don't know. There's enough manufactured shit out there, right? Who needs more of that? So, does it make you laugh? Does it give you some sort of an emotional response? Right.
That's like with all of mine. I don't, now, to each their own with them, because I know you've done something like that. Like, I don't do a lot of the edits, like on the reels and stuff like that.
Right.
What I record, one clip, one edit, one post. That's it. You know what I mean? And to try and stay authentic, basically trying to show somebody the same way I see it with my eyes, I want to show you. So you're seeing it with your eyes, you know, and it's like, that's, with my YouTube videos, just, I'm literally talking shit in the background the same way. The only thing I do is I just don't drop the F-bomb. Obviously, gotta be professional on the old YouTube.
Yep.
But other than that, I'm still the same me talking the same shit behind the camera that I would normally. And it's just, number one, it's more comfortable for me. Number two, it's who I am. So I'm trying to, put off that being authentic. You know what I mean? When I say, and I'm looking at a car, holy shit, like, I'm saying that because I genuinely mean holy shit. You know what I mean? Like, there's no other, so I try and just, keep everything as simple. I feel like now, though, the more of the edited style stuff is starting to be more of the popular thing. You know what I mean? Where there's, even the writing over top of it, or the green screen guy, or, whatever those, I feel like that's becoming more of a thing, or taking, 6 different 5-second clips and turning it into one short reel. You know what I mean?
Right.
Rather than just a one solid reel video like I do.
Yeah.
But again, it's, it's changing with the times, I suppose.
Yeah. I know.
But see, look, for you guys, though, if I get the hell out of the way, that's just more views for you guys. Shoot me out of here, man. Shoot me out of here.
I like wholeheartedly am on the other side of the coin on that one. Like, I don't view any of this shit that we do as like competitive. I think like the more people are doing it, the better. It's the old adage of like, high tides raise all boats, right? So yeah, I by no means see any of this as competitiveness, right? And quite honestly, I think that's why it kind of breaks my heart that outfits like Bring Back the Foxbody aren't around anymore, right? It's kind of like shit, right?
It's sad too, because I didn't even I follow that page on Instagram, but I don't find myself scrolling a lot on Instagram.
Yeah.
That's one of the platforms I really don't just, scroll and scroll. I may scroll for, I don't know, maybe 10 or so posts or something like that. I can see something, I might share it, you know what I mean? Just to keep it, just to keep people entertained, I suppose. And then I get I get bored quickly on social media like that, as crazy as it sounds. So I haven't even noticed that page hasn't been posted. So I didn't even know that.
Not around. Yeah.
Those
I know.
Slam Stangs was one of my favorites because it was all like shit that was on bags or ultra low, and yeah, that one just disappeared as well.
Damn.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder why.
I know. Yeah. That's why I started that question with like, do you know who ran it? Because I'd like to ask him. Probably be an interesting chat. Yeah, I know. I was definitely more about. I guess it was probably like pre-reels too, because Instagram was always my forte. I mean, Facebook's kind of a new thing for me, and I can remember. Yeah, having that little bit of quiet time at night and just opening up the app and scrolling through everybody's photos, right? But I guess it's kind of changed a lot with the push towards short form videos, and well, then it's like, God forbid you click on that little magnifying glass, fuck, there goes an hour, right? Oh, that looks cool. That looks cool. And then that kind of like pulls you away from, I guess, how we used to stay in touch and stay, I guess, relevantly caught up with all our buds on there. I was definitely closer and sort of could keep more track of what everybody was doing back before it was this new thing. But yeah, I find myself almost, I hate to say it, but yeah, just kind of like forcefully posting almost. You're like, fuck, I haven't posted in a while, shit. Versus like, oh, I got something I really think people get a kick out of or would want to see. So it's, yeah, don't even like admitting it actually, because it kind of takes the fun out of it, I
mean, there's been times where I've had that same thought though, like, oh shit, man, I gotta post something. It's almost feeling obligated. You know what I mean?
Right.
I've had that, and I guess it's just, for me, it was almost kind of normal. You know what I mean? Like, oh shit, like I it's not normal that I haven't posted, but not the end of the world. But I've had that. You know what I mean? That short thought.
I know. Yeah, it's kind of disappointing. Well, anyway, before we run all three of us into the ground here anymore.
I still got your car to post from Pitt's, matter of fact.
Do you now? What are you doing?
I still got some cars hanging in the wings, man.
Okay, so you have to put, like, look at how ugly this coupe is with this body kit.
Look at this dog shit body kit.
And let's see what happens.
We Canadian plates. Yeah, we got a trader. He's in the wrong territory.
Post your hateful comments in the box below. Let's go. Just take that golf ball and put it right on the tee for folks and let them swing.
Shit, if you do it, buddy, I'll collaborate on it with you if you want. Let's hit them hard.
Hell yeah.
I got a tough skin.
I mean, I've only got, because like I said, I've got to take what content I get at one show, and I gotta take that shit and stretch it out. You know what I mean? So that's why, you might get one post a week or one post every 2 weeks.
Right.
Yeah, just never know.
Yep.
Just never know.
Keeping it real.
It sucks too, because when I was doing the YouTube videos, the longer form videos, I find my phone's like this more often than this.
Yeah.
So I can't record both, you know what I mean? So, it's tough to try and get both angles of the content, you know what I mean? Because it's like, oh, I want this to be in the YouTube video, but this would be a great short reel, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And then I'm sure you guys have done it before, when you try and take the format like this and squeeze it like this, it's never the dog shit video ruins the whole fucking thing. So yeah, it's one of those, but yeah, I have to make it stretch a little bit,
Yeah. I know you almost got to be rigged up like the one-man band downtown New York playing, right? Fucking camera this way, try to have a conversation with people. But we say this all the time. It's like, as bad as you sometimes wish you were recording, doing something, like, how much does it remove from the moment, right? Of an authentic conversation, or hell, even just for yourself appreciating it with your own two eyes in HD.
That's
versus trying to.
Why I stopped last year.
Yeah.
All these events that I go to, and I enjoyed the hell out of it, by the way, but I'm looking through the lens more often than I'm looking through my own eyes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm capturing these memories and these moments for again, myself and everybody else. But there's a certain point where I still feel like I was shortchanging myself. Even though I'm live in the moment, I feel like I'm missing out on the moment because I'm trying to capture the moment. When I didn't do any of that last year, it was just like, holy crap, man. Like I get to see everything and I don't ever have to worry about where's my phone at. Because if something cool car rolls by and it's cam chopping like a son of a bitch, where's my phone at? Gotta get it. You know what I mean? Oh, he's gone already. Well, now it's just he drives by and I just listen. You know what I mean? Like I'm not digging for that camera, and it was definitely enjoyable. But at the same time, there was a part of me that missed it. I was like, damn, I miss hunting for my phone and getting that on video and putting it together for somebody. You know what I mean? Quit being selfish, Jason, is what I kept telling myself. You selfish bastard. Record it for other people to enjoy,
Right. The guy who might have it figured out, I seen him wearing these at pits. So Jude, he's kind of the shorter, stockier,
That's my boy right
media.
there. I love that
LMR Jude, right?
That's my dude.
And he was wearing a set of those Ray-Bans with the cameras in them.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, for me, and like everybody's kind of got their own style of shades, that isn't really my style. So I don't know, maybe if they made a set that was more my style, that would change things completely, right? But I should reach out to him and ask him how that works, or if he even has some footage that maybe there's some footage that they've already produced that has come from those sunglasses and it's pretty good. I don't know.
I know, Vinny from New York, right?
Yeah.
Vinny did a video at Pitts when they were on the Dragon with his white GT, and he was wearing those glasses, and he recorded a video of him driving on the Dragon. So you might be able to check and see, either reach out to him and see what he thinks, or at least, look up that video on his page,
right,
and see the content or the quality of it. I know
he's
got a pair of those. I know he uses. I know Nick from New York also has a set of those as well.
Okay.
I thought about those, but it seems creepy to me. You know what I mean? Like I was talking to Jude and he's wearing them fucking glasses. I'm looking like, you fucking recording me?
Yeah.
Are we live right now? Like you got to ask a motherfucker because you got two lenses fucking staring at you. And it's just like, I don't know. Am I on fucking reality TV here right now? Like what's happening,
Yeah. Are we live? Yeah. They must operate off a similar premise to like the action cameras, right? It's where you're not getting this like bouncy, whatever type of footage. It must somehow compress that out of it. Because
they used video on the Dragon. He was ripping the shit out of it. And it was pretty still. I mean, it wasn't like it was, shaking all like that. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, that'd probably be like, one of the more ideal ways of doing it, but I don't know. Shit.
That's definitely the POV. Shit. Now that would be something for me, for doing these event videos. Slap them suckers on and just walk around. You know what I mean? That's
that's
all you gotta do.
I want to say that they advertise that you can kind of plumb yourself into your phone and like do lives, and you know what I mean? You can essentially just turn your glasses into everything that you can do from your phone. So yeah, it could be a pretty neat way of getting it done.
I've thought about looking into those. I think if I was going to get anything as far as any type of camera shit, I think I might want to try one of those Insta360s. I don't know why, but I've been wanting to give that a shot. I feel like not a lot of people are using those. And I feel like there's so many different occasions to where you get a totally different vantage point. You know what I mean? Whether it be on a cruise, you can have the cars, from behind or in front, and it's like, if I was ever going to play around with any type of, cameras or shit like that, I think that Insta360 is where I think I might try, because that's also one of those where, and I think for the content like me, I mean, I could slap that thing on my car and just let it sit there during the show. Yeah. Because you can even throw, just, little clips of showing people what the hell the actual show field looks like. Kind of giving that idea of this is what it feels like to walk around. You know what I mean? Like if you're standing there, trying to give that best, feeling of what it's like to be at the show. And that Insta360 has always kind of been one of those that I've thought about, like, man, maybe I ought to try one of those, seem kind of cool. But people say the editing is tough. I don't know. I guess I'll have to figure that out, but I may try one of those. But
Yeah,
the
'cause you
glasses, I
do-
don't know.
Well, Chris, you've messed around with one, right? A little bit.
Yeah, so you gotta kind of. It's like you can't watch 360 all at the same time, so you gotta like pick, obviously, a section of what you're recording to make the video off it. Which, I guess, to your point, right? Like if you're driving or it's in front or it's in back, you have the option, or you can like rotate or pan it, which would make for some super cool transitions. But yeah, it's amazing how much it actually grabs, because like some of the footage that I had, like even like a GoPro, it's amazing how wide it can capture. Or like, because like we saw how close the GoPro is in front of his face to give
Yeah.
the view that we see right now, which is actually quite
Bitch. That's
wide,
wild.
right?
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So like the
Yeah,
360, it'd be.
I'm not far
you know,
from it.
So I think that's the biggest thing about it that makes that a little bit challenging. But like the app will actually grab, obviously use AI or whatever, and sort of kind of draft you up something based on what it sees and what it thinks are the focal points.
So it's I feel like that wouldn't be too bad to at least be able to learn if they kind of get you going. You know what I mean? As far as what the camera's picking up and assuming maybe that's what you want to see. Because that's the one thing I've always heard is that it's just kind of, I think pain in the ass was the term that was used quite a bit as far as the editing goes. Maybe that's just for, a non-professional like myself. But yeah, that was always one thing I wanted to try.
You got to like rotate it, because again, like you can only see the one or whatever, 180 degrees kind of really. And it's like, oh, well, what's going on in the backside? So you're kind of rotating and flipping to try and be like, to grab whatever it is that you're trying to focus on.
Well, I mean, other than maybe looking like Mary Poppins as you walk around, but I mean, if you just kind of walked around mic'd up with one of those 360s, say a couple feet over your head, in theory, you're giving everyone almost like shack level view of what's going on, right?
Yeah.
It's not a bad idea. Just like put something on your back or something. So it's just like sticking up like right here.
Yeah. Looks like one of those
top of your head,
Yeah. Desert whippers.
Yeah. It's not a bad idea.
It's true. Well, anyway, Jay, pleasure doing this, brother. Thank you so much for taking the time. And I know you got to get up and out of early tomorrow and get your beauty sleep tonight. Probably whack a couple darts before you go to bed. You still got that in front of you.
See, I've only had one cigarette since we've been or one dart since we've been here, so I'm good with that.
You've done good, buddy. Yeah. But yeah, man, thanks for coming on, sharing the story.
Man, I appreciate you guys having me, man. It's like I said, we haven't had the opportunity to sit there and shoot shit, so it's always a good thing for me, man. I'll always accept the invite, guys.
Yeah. Where are you going? Sorry, Chris, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'm assuming we're going to see you at Foxtoberfest, but are you doing Motor City or any of the other shows as well?
Well, Carlisle obviously going on this weekend. I was hoping to get to was going to be a last minute thing. It's not looking like I'll make it. Motor City, I'm definitely going to. It's only 3 hours from me. Getting into the September months, it gets a little dicey because there's all kinds of shit going on. Foxtoberfest, I'll definitely be there.
Right.
I've been considering that Ford's at the Shore.
Okay.
The new one in Myrtle Beach, like the new Mustang week. I've been considering that. I don't know yet. That's going to be another play by ear, but at least I got Motor City and Foxtoberfest on the schedule. How about you guys?
Is that one in September then?
Yeah.
The Ford's the Shore? Okay.
Yep. That's why it gets a little congested around that September time because there's so many over there. In that, because Ford takeovers in September, the new Mustang week, the original Mustang week in Charlotte. I mean, there's all kinds.
And now there's going to be a Mustang week Florida. I saw some post.
Yep, I saw that too.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I'm only committed to Motor City and Foxtoberfest. So
that's where I'm at right now. Yeah. How about you, Gary?
I'm 100% in for Foxtoberfest, but I don't know where I'm committing otherwise. I think I don't really have any excuses to not get over to Ford Takeover, so I should probably do that.
Motor City, pretty much in your backyard, I think.
This is the thing, right? Motor City's a hard maybe right now. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I haven't really been doing any snooping around online, but like, has there been much said about Motor City?
Registration, they just posted yesterday that they're opening, I think on the 10th or something like that.
Yeah, next week, I think.
Yeah, they've got their venue sorted, and obviously the dates are secured. And it's cool. Like, I like that they've pushed it into August now, because the weekend after is Woodward. So I think there's a little bit for anybody who ever thought about double ending that deal. It'd be a great opportunity.
Oh yeah, right. I wonder if it, like, geez, this is another can of worms we may be kicking open, but just quickly, like, I wonder if it would do them any favors, or not favors, but like if it would work out nicely to have Woodward, like Motor City and Woodward, in and around the same time.
I've always thought
because they have Mustang Alley at Woodward, so I guess it'd sort of be like Foxbody Alley, which there is a whole section of Fox bodies that are there for that. Like Mustang Alley is a pretty big ordeal. That's
what I've heard. And it's sad because I've never even been there, or to Woodward, and it's fucking 3 hours west of me. You know what I mean?
Right.
I have no idea why, but everyone says if you go to Woodward for the first time, don't bring your car. Not the first year. Bring your ass the first year. Figure out if you want to bring your car the second year. That's what everyone told me.
Or like if you have a truck, because like truck or something that's just easy is really good. Because like you can throw lawn chairs in the back of the truck or do whatever and cruise around that way. And
that's what people have told me too.
Yeah. Or just whatever, lawn chair on the side of the road and just watch the havoc.
Yeah, because it's like when people explain it to me, it's not so much like you're not going to be by your car all the time. You can't be, because you're going to, the parking situation is what it is from what I understand. So it's like you're going to park your car, walk however far just to go to the action anyway. You know, so people are like, you're probably better off just bringing your truck, you know what I mean, the first year, and figure out whether you want to bring your car the second year. You know what I mean? And it's just like one of these years I'm going to get there. Well, maybe this year, you never know, but yeah. Motor City, though, is definitely on the schedule for sure.
Nice. Yeah, new venue. That'll be cool.
I'm looking forward to that. That'll be cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Summer's upon us, boys. So get your cars off jack stands.
There you go.
Man.
Yeah.
Thankfully, mine is not on jack stands. No reason to be. It was on cribbing all winter long. I'm done with it. We're good to go.
Yeah. Just got to get rid of that fucking hood.
Yeah. Man, you know what? I'm going on National Parts Depot. Isn't that where they sell all them cool ass steel hoods that fit real nice? We're going.
Yeah, it's true.
Get rid of that. Hey, that's why I was telling you, it's not a Cervini's hood. Huh?
Just no hood.
Oh, I've done that. There was an officer, didn't pull me over, but he saw me at the gas station. Gives me one of these, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. I'm like, what is this, illegal? And he just goes, I said, all right, I'll go put the fucking hood on. You know what I mean? So,
leave me alone. Yeah.
Now, though, cool. I wouldn't mind having no hood on there. Let that supercharger really scream.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks, Jake. Appreciate it, brother. You want to check out the Real Foxbody Addicts? We'll have links to all their socials and all their goodies down below. And get out there and check them out. Maybe you get your car on film when Jay's not got it in his pocket.
You guys are the best, man. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Jay.
Thanks, bud.